Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers. Welcome to another early morning edition of Mary Sky Release video blog on Mary Sky. If you're new to the channel, hit the like, subscribe, thumbs up button. If you're a comer backer, welcome. Happy Juneteenth. So I'm going to make this video short and sweet, okay? I got an email this morning from Higgins. I was sleeping, by the way. He says, you are clueless and feel you're entitled. No, I don't actually. Let me tell you what I feel I'm entitled to, okay? Now, last night, okay, Higgins knows I literally walked up and down the stairs yesterday. I put in 50 bags of trash last night, okay? Chloe left my storage compartment outside the door. We didn't have a little swinging chair out there, right? So I never went in there for 6 years. I finally went in there. You know what I found? Out of 6 foot by 9 foot by 7 foot tall, 1/3 was filled with 50 bags of trash. Yeah. Bunny poo, Moppy's hair, rotting blankets, rotting towels, stuff that Chloe just threw in there. She didn't want to deal with it. She thought, oh, I'm too lazy. I'll just open this door. I'm entitled. I'll throw it in there. Okay. That is not an entitlement. That is basically a form of laziness. Okay. Now, let me tell you. All right. Now, Brother Higgins, he wants to poke me. That's fine. But tonight, this morning, this polar bear, this mama bear is going to poke back. Okay. I'm going to tell you a couple of stories this morning. Okay? I know someone who's nameless who thinks because they're a woman, they're entitled. Yeah, think about it. You get a cooter, you're entitled. You see a man who has a full sex change, looks gorgeous, and says, oh, yeah, guys won't date me because I'm a trans woman. You're not entitled to a man. No, you got to work for it. You see, in my day and age, let me tell you a story about entitlement versus non entitlement, okay? When I was working, I was entitled to what I had, okay? Now I'm disabled. I'm entitled to whatever people want to give me, all right, gift wise. Chloe wants to give me 20 games for Christmas. That's her entitlement to me. All right, it's a gift, all right? If I'm entitled to give Higgins a new computer, which I want to do, that's a known fact. I just want to get him a basic micro PC. Complaints. Now, if he ends up with Alder Lake, sorry, Higgins, it's what I can afford. But at least you're entitled to a computer, right? Mm-hmm. It's new. It'll do the job, okay? Point is, let me tell you about entitlements, okay? What really irritates me is, let me tell you, last night I made dinner, okay? Barbecued ribs. I'm entitled to those ribs. I literally had to go up and down those stairs. Do you know what happens when I finally finishing the touches in the kitchen? I collapsed. I had dinner and I went to sleep. Am I entitled to go to sleep? Yes. Do I deserve to go to sleep? Yes. Am I entitled to sleep? Yes, we're all entitled to sleep. Higgins doesn't sit there and say, oh, I'm not entitled to sleep. I have to stay up till 9 in the morning because, well, whatever. No, he's entitled to sleep. You're entitled to certain benefits. I mean, look, let me tell you a story about a couple things. Now, there's trans women out there that think they're entitled to a guy like Higgins. Okay, maybe Higgins would love to have a trans woman for a girlfriend. Who knows? Okay. But I'm exhausted, okay? I'm entitled to rest. I literally busted my ass off. Now, my cousin Dinky, she says, oh, well, how come you only tidy your place once in a while? Let's just say I'm entitled to go through my own crap and I clean it out. I'm entitled to spend the next 14 days off and on finishing up. But I'm doing it in sections. I'm not a spring chicken. I'm entitled to rest. I'm entitled to relax, okay? Usually I game, okay? But last night, Chloe was on the radio with me and she said, get some rest. You're entitled. Yeah. Am I entitled? Let me tell you. A few years ago, I was telling my cousin I need some help with something. She didn't help me because she wanted me to learn a lesson. Certain items that people take advantage of is a luxury item. Say you need butter for your popcorn. That's a luxury item. You can live without your popcorn. You can live with your popcorn. You can live without butter. Last night I was craving potato chips, but do you see me clicking on the order now button on Amazon? No. Why? Because, you know, am I entitled to eat more? Maybe. when I overexert myself and have one meal, which is barbecue ribs. I did eat some granola bars, but that only tied me over to the ribs. Then I had 3 ribs. I got 3 ribs today. I also have bacon and eggs. Am I entitled to that bacon and eggs? Not really. Someone else bought it, but they left it with me and told me to make use of it, so I'm going to. Do I consider that entitlement? No. Am I entitled to have the ACP program for my phone? No. There's a lot of people out there that claim, and let me tell you, if you're Democratic or Republican, let me tell you the difference, okay? The Republicans, 99% of them believe in no entitlements. They don't believe in Social Security. They don't believe in the ACP. They don't believe in Lifeline. Then you got the elderly who are Democratic, right? They believe in their ACP. Oh, well, we're entitled to phones. Look, the way I see it is my father-in-law pays for my phone service, okay? $18 a month, 2 lines. He just added a third line because he wants me to do live call-ins here on the channel. So we're working on that. But am I entitled to a third number? No. But let me tell you a story about my dad, okay? My father-in-law, the one I love dearly, okay? Last night, he sits there, right? He thinks he's entitled because he's 72 years old, right? He's entitled to eyewear for free. Yeah, but he had to pay $700 for contact lenses and $400 for glasses. This was yesterday, okay? I'd listen to him say he paid $1,100 for glasses and eye. Then he said it cost him $400 for new brakes, okay? Let me put it this way. I use my legs, okay? Now there's people out there, and I'm not going to go into details. So none of your guys aren't entitled to know Higgins' problems, okay? I know it because he confides in me, okay? We're like siblings. Unfortunately, I can turn around and say, you know what you're entitled to, Higgins? You're entitled to use your legs, but we know he's got problems with the walking, okay? I sympathize with him. Heck, walking to town yesterday and then doing a lot of cleaning exhausted me. Wore me out to the point of I crashed for 4 hours. Yeah, I took a nap. I'm going to probably climb back in bed after this video. But am I entitled for a nap? Yes. Am I entitled for my dinner? Yes. Am I entitled to go use the toilet, take a shit? Yes. Am I entitled to take a piss? Yes. Why? Because if you don't piss and shit, you get sick. Okay. Are you entitled for a roof over your head? Yes, you are. Zoe is right about it. You're entitled to 3 hots and a cot. Yeah. Fortunately, I had to listen to Chloe say the government wants to now entitle and implore that if you're homeless, it's against the law. Apparently, she was squabbling about that last night, okay? I've heard a lot of crap going in the last 7 years with Chloe, okay? Chloe thinks she's entitled, okay? Well, she's entitled to the basics of everyone else, okay? Now, my father-in-law turns around last night, and he says to me, he's entitled for a free dinner out of me. Because he's got to put up with me. Well, okay. Higgins puts up with me. He's entitled to a micro PC. Maybe I'll get him one every year just to be funny, okay? Thing is, I'm not entitled to buy him a computer monitor. That's his job. But if I give him a micro PC, he can utilize it for whatever he needs, even if it's Ryzen or older chip or Celeron. Whatever he gets, he gets. Higgins, if you're watching this, it's a blessing. There's a difference between blessings and entitlements, okay? My father-in-law, let me tell you, my father-in-law and Higgins would get along on taxes, okay? Now, my father-in-law went Democratic because, well, he doesn't like the Republican candidates. Unfortunately, he believes that, people that marry illegals or foreigners are entitled to keep them in the country. No ifs, ands, or buts. Well, okay, that's nice to know for someone like your old dad, all right? But for me, that's just one thing on the tip of the iceberg, okay? Now he goes and he says, again, he's got to pay $15,000 for taxes, property tax. Well, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say for Higgins and for Dinky and Corey and for Aunt Aya and Uncle Steve and for Teddy Bear, my sister, And anyone else who I know, like my Aunt Kimmy, who's Mormon and others, they're entitled to have a roof over their head. They're entitled if their house is paid for. By the way, some of my family members' houses aren't paid for. Aunt Aya's is, I believe. Higgins is. Higgins, I'm proud of him for having his house paid off. That's a blessing right there for me saying I'm proud my dad's house is paid for. His house has been paid for 40 years because grandpa-in-law was an accountant, okay? Fortunately, I believe that the government shouldn't be taxing the crap out of you for your house, okay? Literally. Am I entitled to a working toilet? Yes, because I'm not entitled to have my water bill or my electric bill going up $40 to $50 a month because the water tank kicks on every time you flush the toilet and the flapper doesn't work. I'm entitled to a new flapper. Am I entitled to one that works? Yes. Am I entitled to a non-Chinese made piece of crap that doesn't work and doesn't fit the toilet? Yes. But that's just my opinion. All right. Management company, they give you a flapper, and if they lose 10,000 gallons extra or 20,000 gallons of extra water a month because they won't fix it, then they're entitled to the water bill. Plain and simple. But for entitlement's sake, okay. Now, Higgins and I were differing on, and Higgins should know by now when I sit there and say, oh, you don't need this, I'm not saying go ahead and not buy it. I'm saying, we have a goal we're working on, me and Higgins, I already told him I want to get him a micro PC. He knows this. He just needs to send his address. No address, and he gives me a hint to find him in the white pages. Why can't you just basically be non-lazy? Send me an email with your address and I'll send you a present. Okay? That's a quick, I'm entitled. I'm not going to go look it up. I'm too damn lazy. Okay? I mean, I do enough for the community as is. I'm an advocate, okay? Higgins knows this. Am I entitled to steam cleaning? No. Am I entitled, as Higgins knows, to buy my own steam cleaner? Yes. Why am I not buying one? Manager won't let me. Manager says, no, you don't need extra storage to put in a steam cleaner that's going to collect dust twice a year. Maybe not, but I could steam clean my own carpets and be done with it. Instead, I got to rely on someone else to do because the manager doesn't want me having my own steam cleaner because I think she doesn't want me steam cleaning my carpets once a month. Personally, I'd do it once a month if I could. Am I entitled to other things? No. Well, think about it. I mean, I agree with certain programs, okay? Republicans, they don't want you to have the government paying out for your phone service, okay? You get food stamps, oh, you're not entitled to food stamps. You're not entitled to Social Security, okay? Most Republicans will turn around and tell someone like Higgins or myself or anyone, you're not entitled. I mean, I always poke fun hoping Pee Wee would see my videos and I always joke, well, if you want to donate more doggy biscuits, Pee Wee, go for it. I'm not entitled. I'm just throwing that out there as a joke. Poppy's finally almost finished his biscuits that Aunt Pee Wee gave him. That took from April to June, July. April of last year to June or July of this year. It means it's 14, 15 months of biscuits, okay? Poppy doesn't really like these large biscuits. I have to break them up because he just doesn't eat them large ones. Not small like this. He'll eat them down like it's nothing. Now, is Moppy entitled to walk? Yes. Is Moppy entitled to poo? Yes. Is Moppy entitled to use the toilet? Yes. Am I entitled to a nap? Yes. Is Higgins entitled to a maid service to clean his house after 28 years? Yes, but he's got to pay for it. Thing is when it comes to certain entitlements, let me tell you the difference. Am I entitled to this free cold beverage of water? Yes. Do I deserve it for burning too many calories? Yes. And besides, water is calorie free, basically. Now, the Republicans believe no one's entitled to free phone service, okay? I know people out there that got their ACP program taken away. They can't afford internet, okay? They're Democrats. Are they entitled? No. They're entitled to pay $10 for basic to say $40 a month for crappy service. When we had, am I entitled 20 years ago for uh, Verizon? No. We had to pay $40. Were we entitled to pay $60 when Verizon got bought up by Frontier? No. We're entitled only if we pay for it. Now, when it comes to certain issues in life, okay, and I'm going out on a limb here, okay, entitlements, as my cousin Dinky would say, is basically basic needs, okay? Butter, that's a luxury. Milk for your coffee, that's a luxury. Now, on this island, everything, as Zoe knows, is a luxury. Price is too high. Have you noticed that basic commodities here are expensive? Okay, we're talking milk, eggs, cheese, dairy, stuff that you use for cooking foods. Those things are expensive. But if it comes to non-entitlement products that you pay for, like booze, I know Higgins said to me, don't need booze. That's cheaper than your gallon of milk, basically. You can get a bottle of vodka, a cheap bottle of vodka for $8. You can get a gallon of milk for $8. Think about it. Vodka, which you don't need, you kill your liver and brain cells. Or a gallon of milk for your coffee for $8. Am I entitled to coffee? No, coffee's a luxury item by most people's standards. Are you entitled to food? Yes. But in the opinion of the Republicans, you're entitled to ramen. Yeah, think about it. Think about it. If the government gives you $400 in food stamps a month, or $300 or $200, like Brother Higgins, he gets a lot. Is he entitled to utilize it? Yes. Is he entitled to go to the food bank and get food too? Yes. Fortunately, the Republicans think you're not entitled to go to the food bank on their tax dollars to get food because you can't afford it. I'm going to put it this way. My electric bill is between $120 and $180. $250 a month if it's winter time. I got it, a friend of mine who just bought a boat, as you guys know. He thinks he's entitled to stay at his friend's house because he can only stay on his boat 2 weeks a month. His friend said no. He thinks he's entitled if he gets his captaincy to anchor at places. The entitlement? No, you need a permit to anchor in certain anchor points. Am I entitled for him to stay with me? No. If I offer to put a cot in one of the rooms, yeah, he can sleep on a cot. It's fine by me. He already offered to help with the electric bill. Fine by me. He even offered to pay for the groceries. Fine by me. Why? I'm helping him out and he's helping me out. But am I executing that avenue? No. It's only there as a last resort. Okay. I like living by myself anyways. But am I entitled? No. Everything is a luxury item. This is where we differ from Democrats and Republicans. A Republican who claims, like Dad and Higgins at times, claim that they paid the Social Security they're entitled to. Yes, it's an entitlement program you paid into. You're entitled to it. I agree. I paid into it. You paid into it. Dad paid into it. But to hear Dad turn around and say, in March, I had to put new tires on my RAV4. That was $600. And turn around and say, well, I had to pay $1,100 for glasses and contact lens, not including eye exam, which is $1,200. To have him complain about his property taxes. And then 2 days ago, right, he goes and buys a Switch box by mistake. Higgins could have guided him on this, but He said he just spent $250 for cable wireless router. So he's got wireless and hardwired for his office and his home. Wireless. $250. I'm sorry, but to sit there and, say, well, the internet company makes you pay, Cox makes you now buy your own router. Here, they don't want you using your own router. Your router fries, you call them up and they install a new one for you within 48 hours. Plain and simple. That's what I call, if you're paying $10.99 a month, it's included in the internet bill for a router. You're entitled to that damn router. So if your router fails, you're entitled to internet. You're paying the damn thing. And if it takes them 4 years before the router fries out, then you're entitled to a new router. Yeah. It's like Dad was just saying to me last night, he's got to spend a couple $100 now for a universal, what was it he said? Something to do with an uninterrupted power supply. A UPC, yeah, I think it's uninterrupted power supply. Yeah, it keeps resetting his phone. So when I'm on the phone last night, I thought he got tired of me talking about things. And it was a blessing because I went and ate. Was I entitled to my ribs? Yes, I cooked them. Was I entitled to sit there and say, look, I'm hungry? Yes. Was I entitled to eat them? Yes. I cooked them. Is he entitled to turn around and tell me his gripes about being 72 years old, money going out? Yes. I mean, look, there's people out there, okay? Let me tell you about a guy I know who's a drunk, okay? He's about 70 years old, okay? 71. He doesn't know how the phone works, all right? He doesn't know how certain things work, okay? But he claims he's entitled for free money, all right? He's on SSI. His rent's $88 a month. What's he do with the rest of his money? Puts gas in his car, pays his insurance, buys beer, goes to the food bank. He claims he's entitled for freebies because he's 70 years old. He went ahead and he screwed over his mother when she was alive by being power of attorney and tapping into her inheritance or her living will. When her husband died, his dad, he tapped into the money and he was buying pot and whippets and everything else. What happened? When his mother died, before she died, he had to go to court. He's got $400,000 in legal fees, not including got drunk one night and ended up in jail. Actually, in jail 4 times in the last 6 months. Is he entitled to be evicted because he told the manager to fuck off? Yes. Is he entitled to $4 million that he lost? No, he screwed up, literally. Now, you got people like Higgins out there and others that claim, and I'm using Higgins as an example, I'm not poking Higgins today, I'm actually having a serious conversation here, to think, the Social Security Savings Fund or the SSI saving things to change. Well, when it changes, then I'm going to say you're entitled to because it's law. But right now, they don't want to change it because they want people to be fucking poor. That's right. If you're on SSI or if you're on SSDI, if you're on SSR retirement, or if you're on survivors, you're not entitled to shit. They're going to tell you like it is. Literally. I have to go through a financial cap every year for being recerted. Okay. Am I entitled to more money? No. Am I entitled to certain benefits? No. I mean, if they're there and it's law, yes, I'll take it. I'll take it myself because I'm poor. But there's people out there that think like my family. Okay, Higgins. Let me give you an example of Higgins. Okay, I'm not poking fun at him. Okay? I'm serious here. This is a conversation that we have to have. People think because their computer is 15 years old, they're entitled to a new one. Look. I've learned over the years that when a computer takes a dump, you go find the best affordable computer that runs the applications, your computer programs you need, and you stick with it, okay? You may have to get it Windows 10 or Windows 12 or Windows 18 or whatever. I know Higgins will probably email me and more. Windows 18? Where is that? Being a smartass. But the point is If you can afford, say, a all-in-one computer, if you can afford a micro PC and you have a monitor, and that's what you can afford, then you're entitled to it. But if you sit there and think that you're entitled to a $4,000 computer because you need the latest and greatest, I'm sorry. Nowadays, here's how I see computers, okay? You buy a computer, you get it home. Say you want to run Guild Wars 2 or Elder Scrolls Online, you get it to work properly. Fine and dandy. You got it to work. Amen. You can play it. But what if you want to turn around and you want to use a system like Steam, right? I was going to ask Higgins a project today. Actually, I might still do it. It's a question between physical games versus Steam. Which one's more popular? The gaming companies nowadays are trying to force you to go digital. Yeah, that's the thing. They don't want you owning the game. They want to pull the game when they've taken your money and say, oh, this game is a rental. That's why I don't like digital. That's why I like physical games, okay? But then you go to the used game market and they fucking exploit it, okay? If you don't pre-order certain games when they come out, you're paying $400 or $500 a game later in the future. I always learned this, but she had to pick up some games for me recently for Christmas. Literally, the games were too expensive. She's been paying and paying and paying, trying to rebuild. There's games out there, okay? If you have a working PlayStation 1, some of them are $300 to $500 a game, complete, with manual, discs, everything. $500. Now, I can turn around and get a Palm Pilot, for example, takes batteries, not rechargeables, for like $20 to $25 new in the box. Am I entitled to it? No. Let me tell you, there's a little problem with Palm Pilots, okay? Growing up over the years, you get a Nintendo DS, you get a Palm Pilot with a pin, they leave dots on the screen. You can look at it, right? Now, the newer screens are Gorilla Glass, touch IPS Gorilla Glass, which means you won't have dots in it if you have a pin, but they're expensive. The point is, technology's changed. I mean, look, Higgins knows I like the old technology. Heck, I watch videos on the Jornada again. They have Jornadas where you flip it open and the screen's like this. And you got ones that are handles. Heck, I had the first tablet PC, a handheld phone / internet thing. It was made by, Huawei and by Qualcomm and yada, yada, yada. But it was the first internet data phone, tablet, handheld PC, all in one. Guess what? That was expensive. The data alone was so much. Was I entitled? No. Did I have it? Yes. Did it work? No. It took like 30 minutes to receive your email on a crystal clear day. Nowadays, you can get your email instantly. Yeah. Back in the day, those are the things that I would not want to use. Now, let me explain a couple other things about entitlements, okay? People say, oh, well, you're not entitled to go to the food bank. Well, that's fine and dandy. But there's people out there that sit there, okay, and think they're entitled, okay? Magically, they think that Uncle Sam should be paying because we have oil reserves and gas reserves, and they're entitled to 50 cents a gallon for gas or free gas cards so they can offset because, they're people out there that believe, for example, there's women out there that believe if I show wear a low cut shirt and wear a skirt, men do this when they have a sex change. They think they put on a slinky dress and they can sit there and woo a guy and get free drinks. They're not entitled. You can look like a bombshell from male to female, and you're not entitled to free drinks. I go into places, I get drinks because people look at me and they say, oh, there's an older lady that basically tells everyone to fuck off. You come up to me and say, hey, what's your name? I'm Rita. I'd like to be left alone. Whereas there's people out there that think they're entitled to everything. Now, I'm not saying Higgins is. No, we're not talking about Higgins here. We're talking about people in general. The Republicans don't want people to have the ACP phone. But they also think they're entitled to not having the war in Iraq, Israel, and any other place. I mean, look at Higgins. He claims we may be in World War III. When it happens, it happens. But I'm not dwelling on it. I'm a prepper, okay? I got enough beans and rice stockpiled, as Zoe knows, and everything else. I'm good, okay? Now, there's people out there that think they're entitled to free phone service. Yeah, if you basically follow the protocols. Now, when I'm home, I'm entitled to unlimited minutes for $18. Thanks to Dad. He pays it. Why? If he says he's entitled to free dinner from me because he's paying $18 a month for Uma, fine. Is Higgins entitled to batteries for his phone because otherwise he can't talk to his mother or his father or me? Yeah, he's entitled. But I made a joke and I was poking fun at Higgins because we have a goal. The scanner. He can listen to a lot of entertainment while at home. I mean, look, I know Higgins is lonely. I get lonely too. I'll admit that. Am I entitled to companionship from time to time? Yes. Do I get lonely and upset when I don't hear from Zoe from time to time? Yes. But you know what? Zoe's got a job to do. Is Zoe entitled to people to just go out and buy her book? No. She's got to work for it. I mean, look, I've already checked into one of the avenues by doing all the work for her, okay? Is she entitled? Did I tell her about it? No. Why not? Because frankly, Zoe never asked, and she gave me a hint, so I went and looked it up and did my research, contacting everyone in all 50 states. Not many of them were interested in Zoe's book. Well, then again, you got Zoe's dad claiming, well, it's smut, okay? So Zoe's not entitled to sell it. I'm sorry to say it, but Zoe's entitled to try to sell it. That's the word. By her ways and methods of doing it. Fortunately, I made a joke last night with Zoe about $11 steak. The $11 steak, was she entitled to it? Yes. Did she have the $11? Yes. Did I have a right to bring up the fact that I can't afford $11 steak? Yes, just to be funny. But honestly, it's the same that goes with things. I mean, look, I made a joke with Higgins, okay? Higgins doesn't use the oven. I told him this. I use the oven for baking. Am I entitled to cook? Yes. Electric bills paid? Yes. Am I entitled to cook? Yes. Am I entitled to, when I'm at Safeway, getting 12 packs of better cheddars? Yes. Am I entitled to eat 5 or 6 better cheddars at a time? Yes. Do I deserve it? Yes. Am I iron deficient or am I meat deficient because I ate a lot of macaroni and cheese and ramen? Yes, I'm deficient. But I'm only deficient because I don't take in enough calories. Why do I take in not enough calories? I walk. And soon I'll be using my tricycle. I asked the sheriff yesterday because I feel more safer being on the sidewalk. Guess what? It ain't gonna happen. I have to drive around the roads. Now I gotta figure the road part out. You got all these people that say, "Oh, well, we have these bicycle lanes and we have these lanes, right? You have to go everywhere by bike." But how does that play out for people that have a bicycle? Zoe knows the hills are a bitch. I'd rather stop right there on the sidewalk, but it's against the rules in town because you might run someone over. Yeah, think about it. But I feel entitled, but there's nothing I can do about it. Law stipulates I gotta use the damn bike lanes. People these days misconstrue entitlements with luxury items, okay? I've said it many times. If you can afford something and you pay for it, you're entitled. Look, let me put it this way. The other day I tried to explain to Higgins that I'm entitled to not have my card put on file with Visa and MasterCard for master lists. Your card's out there in a master list. So if say you change your card number because of fraud, the companies, the companies, unless you take yourself off the master list, the companies get a hold of your card. And 99% of the time, even if you're off the master list, they put you back on it. And you got to fight tooth and nail. Why? Because these greedy corporations that have recurring charges like streaming services do this. And then if you try canceling your streaming service, they claim that they're not canceling you, they're entitled to your money, so you're stuck with them. So this is another reason why I don't support all these. I've had to fight, you know, I've had to be on the phone many times over for hours upon hours, like Higgins being on the phone with the welfare office, or Higgins on the phone with the Social Security Administration, or Higgins on the phone with his lawyer, or Higgins on the phone with other companies because, Higgins says, oh, well, I'm poor. I can't afford this. Can you not give me a deal again this month or next month or the month after? I've done the same thing when it comes to streaming services. Am I entitled to be taken off the services so I don't have to pay? Yes. Am I entitled to cancel? Yes. Am I entitled to it because I've spent hours upon hours on hold listening to elevator music? Yes. The point is we're entitled to many benefits, but we're entitled if we basically sit there and take the time to look. I make jokes with Higgins in private, calling him a moocher. But you know what? Higgins literally has to do what he has to do to survive. Is he entitled to free gas? Actually, yes, because I'll tell you why I think he's entitled to free gas, actually. His brother is up from Florida, okay. His brother wants him to drive, 300 miles round trip, I think it is, to go from where he lives to somewhere in the middle of Michigan, out in the Timbuktu, where there's no fire or police service, no sheriff's service, to their cottage, okay. I'm sorry to say, but Higgins is entitled to free gas if he's got to drive all the way out there and waste his gas to drive out to see his brother. No, you're saying, well, we shouldn't be supplying Higgins with free gas. I'm not talking about entitled as in the government pays for his gas. I'm talking his brother should. If his brother's well off, his brother cut the check every time his brother says, ooh, Higgins, come on out to the cottage for a week. Higgins has to be entitled to go out there. Brother should pay for the food. Brother should pay for the gas. Hell, the brother should even put some money towards repairing his car. Now, Higgins, of course, claims, he's paid 30 years of Social Security. Maybe so, but Social Security, as I told Higgins, changes the rules every time you turn around. They got new rules in place every year. Oh, you didn't meet the 5-year penalty, and then you got to go to the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court says, no, you're not entitled. That's it, done. The Supreme Court shoots it down. What then? You're going to take it to the Supreme Court? What if the Supreme Court of the United States says, oh, Higgins' case isn't worth our time? They throw it out. You see where I'm going with this? Entitlements. Some people think they're entitled, and I'm not saying Higgins isn't. I'm just saying in general, my family thinks everything's a luxury item. Think about it. Uh, butter, cheese, eggs, all entitlements. But at the same time, they turn around and say, well, if you eat bacon, if you eat eggs, if you eat chicken, if you eat some other stuff, you're entitled to a heart attack because you eat all this and it's high in cholesterol. But then they turn around and they say, oh, look, we're entitled to it because we're a working family. We have 2 incomes. We're entitled to steak every night of the week. But we're also entitled to the heart attack, too. Think about it. This is what these people think nowadays. They think, okay, let me put it this way, all right? There's 2 camps here, okay? The Democrats believe that everything should be social. You should have your food taken care of for free. You should have your phone taken care of for free. You should have your rent taken care of for free. You should live tax free. You should do this. But the Republicans turn around, or not Republican, Democrats think, that you're not entitled to guns. You're not entitled to bump stocks. You're not entitled to machine guns. You're not entitled to other things. And then the Democrats come up with these new things, the new house program. Buy a new house, get $10,000 off. Get $15,000 off if you go with an electric car. A lot of people say, $15,000 off, we'll finance a Tesla. Okay, we'll do that. But then they find out 15 years later their battery is almost the same price as a new car. That they only get the $15,000 once. Think about it. Then what? They get in the door, they buy their car. Are they entitled? No. Fortunately, the Republicans don't like the $15,000 deal. They think if we're going to pay $15,000 off for a car, the government's telling us to go electric. Personally, here's how I see the car entitlement program. Everyone's entitled to a diesel-powered Suburban, Tahoe, or pickup truck. Hell, even a Cadillac Escalade diesel. They're making them now. That's what I think, or a Volkswagen. Not an electric car, which a friend of mine just had his 2012 Chevy Volt. Guy owns a boat. His battery wasn't working. What did he pay? $38,000 for a new Chevy Volt battery. $38,000. Was he entitled? Yeah, he paid it. But he didn't like it. He could have bought a new Tesla. Think about it. An old geezer, okay. Higgins, he basically triggered this, but it's been meaning and boiling for a while. No, I know Higgins pokes the polar bear a lot. He likes to poke and get reactions. Fortunately, this isn't about Higgins. Okay, let me tell you about the old man on the boat. Okay, Zoe knows this. Higgins doesn't know this. Chloe knows this. Other people around me know this. Okay, like his best friend Daryl and Heather, great people, by the way. Tom, that's the boat owner, thinks he's entitled. Okay, here's what Tom did. Okay, I'm gonna basically be blunt with you. Tom's got rats. He's got sewer rats, wharf rats, cockroaches, beetles. He's got hornets, yellow jackets, wasps, bees. He's got mice all living in his house. He can't sleep in there. Okay. His parents died like 10 years ago, okay? He's been sitting on like $1 million, okay? Yes, $1 million plus, probably like 2 million, maybe even more, all right? Finances, I don't care. Instead of putting that money to repair his house, which, by the way, he's got raw sewage coming up from the basement, the health department should be informed, but I'm too lazy to call him because, well, he's a friend. He's the one who told me to help myself to all that extra bacon he got. Why should I turn him in just because he gave me free bacon? It's not my job. It's another county, okay? He claims that at his age, he's entitled, okay? Yeah, okay, you're entitled. You can go, instead of putting your money towards your house, you bought a boat. Then he says he's entitled with him and his little Filipino lover. He's gay. His Filipino lover wanted $500,000 or $750,000 for the boat to go into their account so he can go back to the Philippines and live off that money the rest of his life. Tom said, no, I'm entitled at 70 years old for my dream to go sailing. Tom buys a boat. What happens? He's now been told at 65 plus he's not entitled to drive the damn thing because he can't make quick decisions. So he sits there and he goes, right? What did you do the other day? I asked Tom, did you pay your best friend for the boat bumpers in this repairs and that repair? He forgot conveniently. He's got memory issues. So the U.S. Coast Guard and others think someone like me has to drive the damn boat. But he's not qualified to, even though he wants to drive and drop an anchor. He claims he bought a boat. He's entitled to take it where he wants. Okay, that's your opinion. It'd be like me telling you I have my driver's license. I'm entitled to drive a car, but I'm not entitled to pay the car insurance or the gas. That should be the government. No. If you own a car, you're entitled to pay the insurance, okay? Now, maybe it's full coverage, maybe it's liability, maybe you think you're entitled to gas. I mean, look, this guy here claims that he's entitled for his boat, but he's not entitled to fix his house. He claims his house is his investment. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it, okay? To me, I wouldn't live in a house of rats and mice keeping me up all night, but that's just me. The point I'm making is entitlements and luxuries are two different items, okay? The boat was a luxury item, okay? He wants to go sailing. That's his retirement. But can he do it? No. The FAA is looking to pull his airplane license because they don't think he can do quick reaction. Some say he's autistic. Others say the point is he worked 35 years. He hasn't taken the Social Security yet. He's bringing in $250,000 a year just on his retirement funds alone. He's taken care of anyways. His boat's covered, but he doesn't want to pay the repair bill for his house because repair his house would take so much money that he thinks he can stretch it out for 5 to 10 years and rent it out. Fortunately, I don't think he has 5 or 10 years left of his life because he's got heart disease really bad and he's got memory issues, which he can't remember half the things. I mean, he can't remember from one day to the next. He can't even remember. He has to ask me reminders all the time of things. Am I a catamaran captain? Yes. Do I want the job? No. Do I want the burden? No. Zoe thinks it's a great idea. Train to be a catamaran captain. When you train to be a catamaran captain, or a captain of a sailboat, or a captain of a boat, or a cruise liner, you're not just responsible for your life, but you're responsible for your entire crew, for everyone on that damn boat. And if you make one wrong mistake, the government will come down on you. Not the boat owner, the captain. I don't want that responsibility. I'd rather be at home playing video games, minding my own damn business. But think about it. Certain things you can't control, you do control. For example, the whole entitlements, you pay into it, you're entitled. But you're not entitled, as I tried to tell Higgins time and time again, you're not entitled to a new computer. It's like the old man, okay? Let's use the old man for example. He's not entitled to a fucking boat. He just bought it because he wanted to stick his nose up at the government and say, look, I'm paying excess amount of taxes. I'm not going to fix my house. You're going to have to condemn it. And then I'm going to sue you for condemning my investment because it's not my job to fix it after 40 years. Think about it. I mean, think about it. There's people out there, okay, that I know, okay? I know men who undergo sex changes to become women. They think having a pair of boobs and a cooter and wearing a short dress gets them free drinks, free dinners, and they're more entitled to a real man than, say, a trans man. They won't date a trans man because trans men and them are not real men. But at the same time, how many men out there in this day and age who are Republican, who are redneck hilljacks, who think women are property? How many of them think that you wine and dine a woman, you're supposed to get cooter and boobs? Think about it. Most of these trans women, they work too hard for what they have, and then they age like old shoes because a lot of them regret what they go through. Think about it. Zoe and I talk about this. They regret it. Now, would Higgins want a trans woman? I don't know. It's not my business. It's not my place to ask him. But for the sake of the argument, Higgins being a Republican, Higgins has his own views on political things. But for the sake of this argument today, because I'm only on video one-sided, no one's commented, think about it. If you're a Republican, ask yourself, and you're disabled, are you entitled to all these programs the Republicans want to strip? What if we get a president in there that decides after, say, 2 years, right, or 3 years, Higgins gets disability, let's just say hypothetically, and they strip him. They say you're not entitled to that money because We don't think you're entitled. When they strip everyone of their benefits, then what? And they dump it all in military. Back in the day, before Social Security, elderly was taken care of by their family and grandparents, great grandparents, and yada yada yada. Now, it's here's a check, go somewhere and rot. And then people were like, well, we can't afford it. So what happens? They came up with new programs, Lifeline, subsidized housing. And people say, oh, well, we're entitled because you may be entitled under the program's requirements, but some places there is no subsidized housing. You have to go miles and miles and miles to find it. And then when you do, you're entitled to be put on a wait list. Think about it. Let me break down a couple things real quick. I'm gonna get some cold coffee this morning because I think I want to explain a couple more things about entitlements. Okay. It is a Republican versus Democrat thing, right? Democrats believe they're entitled to make sure that your guns are registered. Even if they're 70 years old, they are registered. The Republicans believe that this keeps gun safety in check. You have to register it, even if you inherited something that's 80 years old, 90 years old, 100 years old, and still works, like the old original 1911s by Colt, Browning's masterpiece, for example. Problem is, you're not entitled. The government's not entitled to have it registered. I personally think gun registration sucks. That's my opinion, but we're not here to basically get banned from YouTube by giving my opinion on it, but that's just my opinion. Entitlements, a lot of them, a lot of people don't want to pay for. Did you know there's more secret Republicans on this island where I live? And they had an initiative the other day, right? 2 years in a row. Raise property taxes so we can get a library. We all voted no. Even the poor Democrats voted no. Why? The library does its job. But no, they want to spend $25 million and convert an old retirement home into the new library. We shot it down. Why? The people don't want their taxes going through the roof because this island is prime location for tourists. Prime location. Tourists don't use the library that they use the free Wi-Fi down in their hotel spaces. But the librarians think they're entitled to a new library. Personally, here's how I see it. We had a new library built a long time ago in Quincy. I put in 2,000 plus books on fly fishing. Read them all, by the way. They're still there. There's a special little section. It's called the RL, the Airy Sky Rita Lee's fishing section, okay? We're out in the middle of Eastern Washington. Librarian still remembers me. She was pissed that they bought all the books. Out here, I want 15 books to read. Guess what I had to do, okay? I had to buy those books. Higgins helped me choose those books. I thanked Higgins wholeheartedly for that one. Why? Because I had to buy the fucking books myself because the library doesn't think it would sell or no one would check them out that often. Well, maybe if you gave people a chance, that's an entitlement right there. Chance. But no, they don't want to waste the money on it. But they want to waste the taxpayers' money on a new library, which we don't need. Think about it. Librarians claim that they're entitled to a bigger library. No. You go to the library, even Zoe's been there, it's dead 99% of the time. People don't utilize it. People know this. I mean, look. There's programs out there that help you lower your internet bill, right? There's a guy who thinks you should work 6 years of your life and the rest of the time you should be fucking freeloading off the government the rest of your life. Mr. Bureau upstairs. Sorry to say, it ain't gonna happen. You're not entitled to shit and you're miserable and you're excessively drinking. Yes, you're entitled to kill your liver because you're miserable as hell, because you lost $4 million, because you fucked up. But that's your entitlement problem, okay? You think you're entitled. Do you see me complaining about inheritance? No. Do you see me complaining? Here's how I see it, okay? There's people out there. Okay, let me tell you a story about a friend of mine. A friend of mine has a brother who's gay. He came out and he said that he's not gay anymore. He turned off the gay spigot because he wanted it as inheritance. Here's how inheritances work. You get an inheritance when your father or your mother dies. Before then, it's basically a handout. If the parents want to give you a handout and help you along the way, that's considered a handout. It's not an entitlement. When someone dies and it's in the will, and you inherit, say, $10 million. Okay, let's just say Zoe inherits everything from her dad. Her brothers get shit on, her sisters get shit on. Zoe gets it all, hypothetically, because Zoe becomes a famous writer, hypothetically. She had to put that blood and sweat into it. Maybe she's entitled. But for the sake of the argument, there's other people out there that think they're entitled to inheritance now when the person's still alive. Sorry, it don't work that way. No, you get money when a person is dead. There's a lot of people out there that think that they're entitled for every little thing. Look at Chloe, for example. Chloe believes she's entitled to 3 hots and a cot. Zoe agrees. Problem with Chloe is she screwed up because she thought she was entitled, being a trans woman, that she can get away with bloody murder. What did she do? She told the manager to fuck off. A lot of people say, oh, she was under duress. Maybe. But you don't see me basically being under duress, tell the manager to fuck off. As a matter of fact, I get along with the manager. Manager and I are just fine. Now, if we get picked today for the inspection, that's a different story. I might lose it due to the fact that I've been picked 22 years in a row by the federal government, and I think I'm being handpicked every damn time. But that's just my own entitlement. I'm entitled once in a great while to be exempt from inspections, but then the manager will pull the personal inspection card out, or the federal government doesn't inspect me, but the state does. And if the state doesn't, the manager pulls out the inspection card anyways and says, oh, then when she wants to choose 4 or 5 units, she chooses 4 or 5, but she doesn't choose the entire building like she was supposed to. So in the end, I think if we're going to be entitled for inspections, you inspect every fucking apartment. That's my entitlement. Be equal. I mean, think about it. Do I think people are entitled if their houses are paid off and to pay no taxes? Yes. Do I think people like Higgins, people like Dinky and Corey, and I and Uncle Steve, Teddy, are entitled not to pay income tax? Yes. I mean, look, the government came up with the income tax program because they needed to offset. Why did they offset? Well, the government turned around and told the people paying the income tax, we'll do property tax too in this one, that if you're paying income tax, you're getting a portion back. That helps fund wars. That helps fund government programs like food stamps and Medicaid, Medicare, and other things. Well, we're already paying Social Security taxes when you work, and a Medicare tax retirement. So I think that's how it works. The Medicare thing. Don't quote me. Now, when it comes to property taxes, Higgins' taxes go up, Dad's taxes go up, Teddy's taxes go up, Aunt Kimmy's taxes go up, Dinky and Corey's taxes go up. What are they paying? They're paying for fire service, police service, public safety service. They're paying for other programs out there, which they claim that they don't need. Okay, well, let's just say in Texas, you don't need the police. Just shoot them dead. They come into the house. They step property. Higgins would probably believe it. Shoot him dead. Okay, you can shoot him dead, but now you got to go to jail to clear your innocence because they claim that you used the gun in self-defense, which may or may not be self-defense. It may or may be cold-blooded murder. Now you're on trial with millions of dollars, which you're entitled to that trial. You're entitled to be exonerated. But at what cost, okay? So they say, oh, you need police service to keep the peace. Most police are assholes. Are you entitled to asshole police? No. I had the former sheriff, call me yesterday. Sweet guy, by the way. A lot of people hate him. He's a subscriber on my channel. Hey, Ron, thanks for calling me last night. Much appreciated. Point is, I had to ask the legalese about my trike. Okay, I'm entitled to that. I'm paying the guy's wages and my taxes, whatever I'm paying. Okay, people say, well, you don't pay enough taxes. Well, yes, I do. You see, back in the day, a can of dip was like $2. Now a can of dip is $13. Now, if you go off island, you can get it for $4.50 at 7-Eleven for a cheap brand. Fine and dandy, right? Fortunately, a basic can of Grizzly is like $6 here. That's not bad if you like Grizzly. I prefer cherry myself. But here's the kicker. You're paying for fire service, okay? But if your house burns down, God forbid, then the fire department wants your insurance to pay them for putting out the fire. It's a double-edged sword. You're paying them. And now EMS is now allowed, the fire department and EMS are now allowed to bill Medicare or Medicaid for your ride to the hospital if you have insurance. Because not only are you double edging, they're double tapping into the thing. They say you're entitled to that ride, but they're entitled to get paid $2,000 to take you from here to a mile or 3 miles, or mine's 3 miles away. 3 miles, $2,000. Yeah, think about it. So they claim they're entitled. So it's a double-edged sword. Food bank turns around and they say, oh, the government says you're entitled to free food. Okay, let's talk about free food, for example. This was given last week. It says, user freeze by 517. Look at that. User used by 517. Frozen. They freeze this. Expired already. Even Zoe knows the food bank ain't that good. By the way, I think this is that old chicken that I was talking about the other day. Yeah, I froze it because I'm going to use it for something. I was actually going to defrost and reheat it in the oven, make sure it goes. But it's a rotisserie. Here's the kicker. All these services they claim you're entitled to, you're paying double or even triple the value because of your property taxes. Are you really entitled? No. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb here, okay, and make a statement here, okay? The other day, Brother Higgins told me that his property taxes went up again. So did my father-in-law, so did my sister, so does blah, 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 right? They claim, oh, we need new schools, we need new libraries, we need this. You may need a new school, you may need to house more people for schooling, but what good is it when the school programs are still shitty? Yeah. Back in the day, schools would go 30, 40 years before they were replaced. 50 years even. 67 years. It's the teachers that make a difference, not the school buildings themselves. Government says, oh, you need schooling. Okay. But then I'm going to go out on a limb here and say, does Higgins need more schools in his area? No. Does Higgins need more new libraries? No. I mean, maybe Higgins thinks he's entitled to the library because he can burn all the ebooks he wants and burn all the DVDs and music CDs he wants because he pays. But the thing is, that's piracy. The way to own piracy is you have to own the property before you can actually download the property, pretty much. That's how it works for most people. Okay. Fortunately, the government just wants us to believe we need these items. Yeah, I mean, look, the government now wants to do a Surgeon General warning about social media. That's funny because I'm only on Instagram and Facebook. Once in a while, Facebook through Chloe's account. Otherwise, I'm on Instagram or YouTube, StreamYard, Rumble from time to time. But let me put it this way. Am I entitled to use ad blockers? Yes. Am I entitled to protect my computer from ads? Yes. You see, the government is allowing companies these days, for example, back in the day, I used to get tired of Facebook, okay? Family called me flake. That's one reason why I got rid of Facebook. But am I entitled to ads? No, I'm not entitled to log into. Say I go to Amazon and I see batteries that Higgins links to me and says, "Oh, look at this, Rita. Is this a good deal?" Well, let me just say I made a joke with some GSRM radios. Okay, am I entitled to pay $40 for a pair of bow fangs? Maybe. Will I pay $40 for them? No. You see, Higgins decided after me to get these power boosters. By the way, he's got 4 radios. Let me say, is Higgins entitled to those radios? In his opinion, yes. Is he entitled to use those radios? No. Why isn't he entitled? Because he bought them and he doesn't use them. I sent mine back. I got 4 sets of GSRM radios. Do I use them? No. Why? Because they don't work, okay? They work better at 30 to 50 mile range if you're on the water. You can be from one island to the next and they'll work just fine. But if you're, say, on a hill, you see, GSRM only works if you have no obstructions. Just clear line of sight. The desert, for example, you can be 10, 15 miles in the desert and they'll work fine as long as you have no shrubs or anything blocking it. Point is Higgins entitled to those radios? No. Am I going to complain about it? Yes. The reason I poke Higgins all the time about certain things is he entitled to a new computer? No. He may say, oh, well, maybe the computer's his hobby. But then again, him with 5 billion terabyte hard drives all over the place, and he's got to download every damn music CD that he likes or movie that he likes. That would be a problem. You don't see me downloading every movie. I just go and spend $8 and get a box set of the Fast and the Furious series, or Lethal Weapon, or Kindergarten Cop, or some other box set like the Fast series, Fast and Furious. Yeah. Then I have the physical copy. Why? Because digital can be pulled at any time. You're only renting it for as long as they want you to rent it. You can have it for 20 years, and one day they'll just say, sorry, you don't qualify for this. You have to buy the newest expanded version for $30. Do you think I like digital? No. I mean, look, I have the physical copy coming up, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire. Why did I have the digital copy? Because I wanted to buy it. Did I share it with Chloe? Yes. Did I share it with Zoe? Yes. Did I share it with Poppy? Yes. Did I share it with Higgins? No. Then again, Higgins would probably enjoy all my streaming services. I'm still fighting to remove all of them. Why? Because it's free entertainment. And he probably thinks he's entitled to. I'm poking the honey badger now, but honestly, he knows he's not entitled to my streaming service. He knows if I give freely, I give freely. Point I'm making is you're not entitled to everything under the sun. I'm not talking Higgins in general. I'm talking about overall. I mean, look, if the government wanted to take away subsidized housing and put all that money in the military, there'd be a lot more homeless out there. Then they'd all be arrested under the new government rule. So the government claims they're entitled to arrest people for being homeless. I mean, think about it. There's people out there, okay, that claim they're entitled to drive a car. Yeah, they pay the gas and pay the insurance, they're entitled to it. Some people can't afford the gas. Some people need to realize, okay, you're fucking poor. You're fucking poor and you have to make sacrifices. Those sacrifices mean either going to a group home and let someone spoon feed you the rest of your life, or you fucking deal with the fact that you're on peanuts every month and you have to downsize and cut out your credit card bills. You got to cut out your property taxes. I mean, look, there's people out there, okay, that think the government should change for them because they're entitled to it. but they don't think other people are entitled to it. Think about it. Now, let me tell you a story. I know a woman who's thinking of moving to Belize because she's entitled to be with her fiance. She is. She's entitled to marry him, settle down. Can she do it? No. Uncle Sam turns around and says, well, you're entitled to marry this person, but we're entitled to take our dumpy ass time, and you're entitled to pay the lawyer $100,000 a year. Meanwhile, we're entitled to tell people like Higgins and Dinky that you're entitled to allow illegals in the country because, well, you got to pay for them. Think about it. Lady is paying $100,000 for a lawyer, can't get her lover in. But an illegal comes in here, and we're entitled to pay them food, lodging, shelter. No wonder why the country's going down the shitter. No wonder why we want Republicans in office. They may do something with the illegal population if we can get the House and Senate back and the presidency. Now, if we don't, you're going to basically see in 2028 a Republican red wave, a tsunami, you could say, because people will be tired of these things. But in 2028, how many people out there are going to sit there and be talking about the entitlements? Think about it. Now, there's people saying there's going to be a blue wave. There's people saying there's a red wave. It's too early to tell, people, okay? Wait and see. Remember, Sister Pee Wee was angry with the last election cycle when I said, it'll be split. That's one reason why I think Pee Wee's not around right now is because, she is still upset that the House and Senate didn't flip completely Republican. Probably Higgins the same way, but you know what? We have to move on. Voters made the decision. Fortunately, these people that are Republican think they're entitled because their votes count. We can sit there and talk about entitlements and votes all day, but I'm not here for that. I'm here to make a statement that people aren't entitled to everything under the damn sun. You got to work for a lot of it. Am I entitled to climb into my bed soon and take another nap? Yes. Am I entitled to wake up? Yes. Am I entitled to feel safe waking up after a nap? Yes. Am I entitled to finish my TV show I missed part 3 and 4 because I fell asleep? Yes. Am I entitled to rest? Yes. Did I work my ass off for 3 days, 4 days? Yes. I mean, look. When it comes to gaming laptops and desktops, am I entitled to run a game that is on low settings for Chloe's game? Yes. If I pay cheaper pricing, if I don't, I don't. I mean, look. Am I entitled to a working computer for spreadsheets? Yes. I have one. Do I have a gaming laptop? Yes. Do I have 2 gaming laptops? Yes. They work just fine. But to have someone say, oh, well, maybe it's their hobby, but their hobby still, they're entitled to pay their own damn money. Unfortunately, it'd be like me saying, I feel I'm entitled to walk down the hill and take photography. I have the camera gear. Let me take the camera. Let me do photography. Yeah, no problem. I have all the equipment. Am I entitled? Yes, to a point. But at the same time, am I entitled for other issues? Some things yes, some things no. Look, Chloe, she's clean. She's entitled to have a cooter. Will a cooter fix her mental problems? No. Will Higgins' Social Security request to move the savings to $10,000 help him out? Yes, but what if they give him that $10,000, but then they turn around and say, but in the kicker, you're not entitled to own a house anymore. They changed the rules where you're not a house owner, you're too poor, so they changed the rules on him. He gets what he wants, but they put something in the bill that says he's not entitled to a house or he's not entitled to a car and he's got to go to a group home. Is it really worth them putting in crap? Yes, if you get it and the law changes and they put something in it that benefits them and screws you over, then you're entitled to that program because, well, You pushed for it. Fortunately, the government's got their own ways of doing things. All right? I mean, look. Let me put it this way, okay? Higgins got screwed. All right? If he gets denied again, he's done. All right? Appeal's done. All the appeals. What he gets is what he gets, right? At that point, Higgins is going to have to sit there and ask himself, is he entitled? Yes. Is the government telling him he's entitled? No. The government probably did it because he's a Republican, probably. And if that's not the case, they just want to screw him over for whatever. Maybe he voted for Trump, and they're like, well, this is a Trumper. Let's fuck him over. I mean, honestly, here's how I see it, okay? Is Higgins entitled to his house? Yes. Is Higgins entitled not to pay property taxes because his house is paid off? Yes, in my opinion, he is. Is the government saying they're entitled to his money? Yes. But if he's bringing in more, if he can't save the money to cover his taxes, eventually, if he's stuck on SSI, which I love Higgins dearly, he's going to have to finally make a decision after all these appeals to downsize. He's going to have to sit there and say, well, I can't live in an apartment, but I can't live with my mom either. But I'm going to either have to find a way to make the taxes every year or downsize. Those are the things that he's going to have to do. I mean, who was it who was telling me? It might have been Higgins last night. He was talking about how some decisions are hard to make. I think that was Chloe, actually. I think. Oh, I know what it was. I think he was talking about his dad. You know, his dad's got this and that, and they're trying to figure out what to do. And I told him about Chloe, and then I told him about Tom. Yeah, I said I have the same thing. Tom can't make his own decisions. Now, I have a hard time with decision making too because I have so much on my plate. Higgins knows it, and I think that's one reason why I offered to give Higgins a micro PC. He just supplies a monitor. Why did I offer it? Well, it's not because I think Higgins is entitled, no. But I do think he's semi-entitled to the fact he's helping me out a lot. He deserves something from me, a bigger reward than what I'm giving him. But that's just my opinion, only on the grounds that, with this, he can speed things up on searches, even if it's Alder Lake or Ryzen. I mean, he can't have Intel. Sorry to say, I'm not going Intel. I'm poor. Okay, I admit that. At least I admit that I will get him what I can afford. But is Higgins entitled to a car? Yes. Is he entitled, in my opinion, to pay the gas out of his own pocket? Yes, unless his family pesters him to go somewhere, then his brother should pay the gas. Maybe his brother should pay the insurance too while he's going all the way out to BFE, Michigan. Bumfucking Michigan, BFM. Or is he entitled to his brother paying maintenance on his car to go out there? Yes. I mean, let's just put it this way. You drive a car, you wear down the tires, you wear down the engine, you wear down everything. His brother should be paying it. His brother's got the money. But is that my opinion? Yes. If Higgins didn't have to go out to the cottage, he could stay at home and utilize his home. Then again, 28 years of not cleaning, that would be something I would have done a long time ago. At least I clean at least 4 times a year. Unfortunately, him, no. That I think is just, I poke at him and say, that's an entitlement you should do. Now, some people like Higgins and Tom think that they're entitled not to clean. Well, that's your priority. You're entitled to it. You don't have to clean. But when rats and mice start living in your house, you might want to reconsider. I'm talking about Tom, not Higgins. At least Higgins, I don't think, has rats and mice yet. Unfortunately, Higgins is the type of person last night that thinks he's entitled, that if he buys 400 cases of raviolis, then he should eat them down. Well, guess what? As Zoe and I talked the other day, we would not touch food that is canned. Yeah. We are not going to touch that type of stuff after a certain long. I ate my raviolis down. I got rid of like 12 cans out of all the ones I ate down. Why? Not bad. But nowadays, you can't even. They raise the price of raviolis. And raviolis, yeah, that's not bad. It's not good, but they ain't bad. Yeah, I like raviolis. Maybe I'll eat a couple. I mean, look at Chloe. The other day, I tried maple spam. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. You know why I try avoiding spam? The salt content. I mean, look. Food Bank gives me stacks of spam every month, 4 cans every week. I got a whole bunch. Chloe says, "Oh, I'll take them out here." I like the bacon spam. I keep that on hand. Okay, I'm entitled because I paid for it. But am I entitled to indulge in too much spam due to the fact that I look after my health? A lot of people say, "Oh, Rita, I'm just checking to see. Can you guys get ravioli in the can? You can get 4 packs. And there's the overstuffed, but they're charging $12 for 12 cans of overstuffed. I like the overstuffed sausage, but the beef's not bad. If you get a hold of it, it's $1 a can. So yeah. And then there's a 4 pack. And then you got the minis. I don't like the minis, but anyways, I might just get me some anyways. But anywho, yeah. I think they got rid of this overstuffed sausage ones myself. That was a long time ago. Or was it beef? I think I got Italian sausage. Yeah, here we go. They're only got beef now. So it says right here, right there, snap thing and Hardy. I like the overstuffed myself. Yeah. 4 cans. Yeah. So anyways, I could buy freaking. I could live on raviolis for the month, but you know what? Right now, it's just an idea. Now, for some of you thinking to me, oh, yes, they have overstuff right there. You get 12 cans for, yeah, that's a good deal. All right. So, anyways, my point being is when it comes to being entitled, there is a limit on entitlements. Yeah. I mean, literally. I mean, think about it. Republicans, they don't want you to be entitled to a phone. They want you all. The main argument is they want, if they're paying for the phone service $50 a month, and they're paying for internet $50 a month, and they're paying for everything that they have because they're middle class and working hard, Republican, then they want the people like Higgins to go and pay $50 a month for his phone and $50 a month for internet and everything. They don't want him to freeload. Heck, most Republicans that I know would tell Higgins to get a damn job. And frankly, I don't think he can get a job. But my argument is these people think that Higgins isn't entitled to the ACP program anymore, which it's no longer available, or entitled to free Lifeline, or entitled to anything unless he pays full price. Some people out there have to basically con and smooth to get lower pricing every month. And they have to be on the phone for a long time. So if they're basically on the phone for a long time, they're semi-entitled to that because they had to fight for and advocate. Fortunately, there's people like me who Republicans love. I pay for everything. I may get $20 in food stamps, and they say to me, "What do you do with $20?" Well, I can buy 2 cases. Actually, I get 24. I can get 2 cases of ravioli. That's 24 cans. That's, say, 12 meals for the month. 12 meals. Or I can spend $7 or $8 in cash and get 5 cases of ramen a month. Or I can spend $11 additional a month and get, instead of 12 per case, I can get 24 per case on regular ramen. Is it worth it? Yeah, because a lot of them turn around and say, well, it is worth it for Rita because at least she's eating ramen. Yeah, but ramen It doesn't have any nutritional value, so you're burning off all the calories like I'm doing. But am I entitled to it? Yeah, it's food. It's one, a lot of these Republicans think that you're entitled to ramen or what you can afford. Yeah, that's what, Others think they're entitled to spend $5, $6 of the food stamp money for better cheddars and microwave. And looking at Higgins here. Fortunately, I'm not saying Higgins is entitled to the better cheddars. No, let me just put it to you this way for the sake of the argument, okay? Higgins is entitled to what he can afford. Unfortunately, let me just tell you a little argument that I had with the doctor the other day about better cheddars and bratwursts, okay, and sausages and bacon and other processed stuff, okay? Now, Higgins is one of these guys that believes that he's entitled to save money on his gas bill by not using his oven and stove usually, and he wants to use the microwave. Fine and dandy. I support the microwave any way you look at it, okay? I don't have one because, well, where am I going to put it? People say just put it right above the refrigerator. Fortunately, there's pantries and the manager wants us to have access to that storage. Now, you say, Rita, how come you claim you're entitled and yet you don't own a microwave? Well, let me put it the argument with the way the doctor put it, okay? So the other day, I go to the doctor, okay? And Zoe knows this because I told her. She was very concerned about it, okay? So the other day, me and Zoe were talking, right? And Zoe's always telling me, you're entitled to walk. Use your legs. So I walk and I do things, right? Well, one day I told Zoe, because I apologized to her for being late, being tardy, I was tardy. And she was kind of getting concerned. So I said, I'm sorry, Zoe, I'm late because she probably won't remember this conversation. She's so busy with books and $11 steaks, okay? So Zoe says to me, well, what happened? I said, I was sluggish going up the hill. I had to catch my breath. Zoe says, you never do. The problem is, the more meat you eat, processed or non-processed, the more your body will slow down, basically, and cause you trouble and give you breathing difficulties or chest pains. Think about it. Now, I only have chest pains or problems when I eat meat. Plain and simple, yeah. Barbecued ribs, no problem. Chest pains or sluggish and slow down and breathing difficulties. Chloe bought me firecracker brats. Yeah, guess what happened? I had like 14 of them in my cooler. I cooked them. You know how slow I was? I was running like a robot on slow-mo going up the hill, catching my breath, slow as snails. Thing is, if I eat ramen, it's fine. If I eat macaroni and cheese, I'm fine. If I eat sofa and mac and cheese, I'm fine. If I eat hungry man, I'm not fine. Whatever it is in the meat part is really giving me trouble. Now, over the years, Zoe knows I can inhale bratwursts, I can inhale ribs, I can inhale stuff. By the way, Zoe's bean soup's amazing. Can't give enough praise to that, okay? Point is, I love Zoe dearly. And Zoe loves me as a sister too. She knows what I'm going through. She knows that I have to live within my means. Point is, Zoe knows that on certain grounds, entitlements work when it comes to say I'm entitled to eat more vegetables. I do. I put away all the food bank vegetables when it first comes in on Thursday. By Saturday, it's all eaten. By Monday, all the fruit's eaten. Think about it. Food bank's giving us canned stew. That gave me trouble. Packaged stew that's refrigerated gave me trouble. Packaged chili gave me trouble. Why? The meat. I think my body is not wanting meat anymore. I mean, look, I inhaled that salad like anything yesterday. Was I entitled to it? Yes. Did the neighbor have to give it to me? No. Did I eat the whole damn thing? Yes. Did Higgins sit there? Oh, you used half a bottle? No, actually, I used very little salad dressing because I used up the salad dressing as a dipping sauce for my meat. Thing is, so when it comes to food, you're entitled to what you can afford. Now, here's the other entitlement that people like Higgins doesn't realize. Okay, and this is what the doctor told me. My body was really sick for a while on meats. I mean, I was living. I'm protein deficient. We're trying to find a way to balance the proteins out so I can get protein without needing to inhale so much meat. Okay. Now Higgins, of course. Okay, we're using Higgins as an example. I love Higgins dearly, but Higgins needs to realize that if he ends up with heart disease, severe heart disease, where he claims he needs to be on disability the rest of his life, the government might turn around and tell him no. He brought it upon himself because that better cheddars is what he can afford. Blocks and blocks and blocks, hundreds of better cheddars. Eat enough better cheddars in your life, you're going to cause heart disease. That processed cheese and that processed meat. Yeah. So you're entitled to heart attacks. You're entitled to strokes. Think about it. They say too much coffee can weaken your heart. If Higgins makes 3 or 4 pots at a time and drinks it down over the course of 3 or 4 days and he drinks plenty of coffee, he's entitled to the heart disease. If his mom makes him 4 times a month free winter chicken dinner and he ends up with high cholesterol, it's because of what he eats. I mean, look, the reason I ate half my ribs last night is because I was hungry, okay? And the other half is, as Higgins knows, and I'm entitled, as I walked up and down those stairs to the dumpster. There's no room in the dumpster. The dumpster is overflowing. Is Higgins entitled to what he eats? Yeah. But are you entitled to heart disease? Yeah. I mean, look, raw onions can help you dissolve some of that heart disease. Unfortunately, the problem is it's your diet that causes you to have health issues. Are you entitled to those health issues if you eat poorly? Well, my father-in-law agrees that you can. Look at hubby. He died at 38 because he ate ramen, mac and cheese, and spaghetti all the time and meatballs. Personally, I'm not a big fan of spaghetti. I try to avoid it for that reason. But, once in a while I'll make up a nice pot of spaghetti. I just was going to make up some anyways. I found some spaghetti noodles and some sauce, so I was going to mix them up some this week. Why? Because I can. And it's once in a great while. Zoe knows this. Zoe knows I don't eat spaghetti that often. Zoe also knows that if people think, that they're entitled to, Zoe and I joke about the trannies and think that because they've had all the work done, they're entitled to a man. You're not entitled to shit. You're not entitled to basically turn around and be told you're a real woman. You're not a real woman. If you can't give birth, you're a fucking man with a fucking inverted penis. Plain and simple. Fortunately, most people out there think they're entitled. They think, oh, well, I'm a trans woman and I've been abused, financially or mentally or sexually or whatever. Most of these trannies are lazy. They want a man to take care of them. But how many men out there want to take care? We're not in the 1950s where a man goes and has a sex change. Well, that doesn't happen in the 50s. But has a sex change and then thinks they should be a little housewifey. How many of you want to be a housewife? A lot of them do, but a lot of them still work. And then they get discriminated because, well, they had a sex change and they're not really accepting. So they have to go in the inner circle and then the people build them up. Oh, honey, you're so gorgeous. You're a real woman. Really? Can you give birth? Can you have a baby? Can you bleed? I mean, most of these Republicans out there think if you can't bleed and you can't have a kid, you're not a woman. Plain and simple. And that these Republicans are the same ones that turn around and tell people like Higgins, no offense, that everything is a luxury. Having a house for Higgins is a luxury. Owning a car is a luxury. Paying gas is a luxury. Buying better cheddars is a luxury. The Republicans that I know would want Higgins to live on fucking ramen. And even if the food bank gave him 10 cases of ramen that expired 6 months expired, they'd want him to eat the stale ramen instead of being entitled to better cheddars. Think about it. These are Republicans I know. They want you to live as frugal as possible. Yeah. I mean, literally. And so you got all these people, and they are the type of people, these Republicans I know, let me tell you, that would turn around, and if they could change the law before Higgins got on disability, okay, and the huge retro check Higgins may or may not get, hypothetically, they'd be the ones changing the law that says a retro check has to pay his back bills, not new computer, new car, new Humvee, new boat, new camper, new trailer, whatever. They would make sure that it went to what they think was needed because they have to pay for it. So Higgins isn't entitled to a new computer out of his retro check. Hypothetically, this is these Republicans I know. Most of them would do that in a heartbeat. They change the rules to screw them over more. Why? Because that's what they do. Now, there's Republicans out there that think, well, but then again, how many people out there think truly, and this is where my family thinks of me as different, okay? Most of my Republican family think of me as the black sheep of the family, okay? They believe that $20 is fine for a flip phone, $15 for the plan. 2 phones, $30. That's fine. Paying $30 for 2 phones. That's what they want. They don't want me to get free phone service. They don't want me to be limited to 500 minutes a month. Most plans are that way at Lifeline, or 1,000 minutes a month, and like 1 gig of data. My flip phone gets data, but do I use it? No, because it's too slow. They believe that I'm not entitled. But then again, they believe that shampoo and conditioner is a luxury item. Then, when they find out I take a shower twice a week, and the shampoo lasts a lot longer than them, they get really angry because I'm making it last because I'm on a fixed income. I buy 48 bars of soap per year. They get mad at that too. Every month I buy 4 bottles of dish soap. Amazon Basic, basically good as Dawn. They get mad at that. It's a luxury item. Do you want me to get food poisoning if I don't use soap on my plates? Yes, so that they think that most items are luxury. Yeah. They think if they're paying, let me go use the restroom for a second, but let me finish here. They think, okay, that everything is a fucking luxury. Someone like Higgins, he shouldn't have a car. He should be in a group home being spoon fed because he's too retarded. If they got to pay his wages to live, then he shouldn't have a house. He shouldn't have a car. He should be living on peanuts. No offense. Higgins, he'll probably watch this and say, oh, well, we're not. No, I'm talking about my bloody family, not the Higgins. Okay, the Higgins should realize this is my own family. Same family who I love dearly, who watch my channel too. I mean, look, let me put it this way. I have a feeling, okay, Sister Pee Wee, the reason Sister Pee Wee ain't around isn't because of personal issues or my channel is, I'm not backing Trump or Biden or RFK or whatever. I have a feeling it's something else, okay? That on something personal. Could be, in her opinion, she's entitled to her own opinion and her whatever, But the thing is, with Sister P, I love her dearly. She knows this. But I have a theory, and it's a personal theory I won't share because, I know her background and I know what happened with her and her husband recently, and it could be a little bit of protections on her side for certain issues, like people out there, let's just say you win the lotto, for example. Okay, let's just say Pee Wee did win the lotto. Okay, she was a billionaire. Okay, she became a billionaire, right? You know how many people come out of the woodworks and ask for money? Maybe she inherited several $1,000,000 and she's retired and she thinks she's entitled to it. She is. It's her inheritance. Okay, let's just say hypothetically. There's people out there that may know that she has more money than she knows what to do with. Okay, point is, she could be protecting herself, which I understand completely. So my point is, Republicans do that, but we're not talking about people here. We're talking about my family who believe that everything that they think that we're entitled to, they want it in law. They want us to basically live on ramen. They don't mind if our electricity bill's like $20 a month. That's not the problem. They just want us to be entitled to nothing and be happy. Pretty much. Same thing Biden said. But in the Republican view, they don't want to pay for food stamps. They don't want to pay for um, Lifeline. They don't want to pay for ACP. Now, let's break that down after you use the bathroom because I really want to argue here for a second because I want Higgins to realize this and everyone else that's watching this show this morning because, this is the Rita show and I should be napping. But I've decided to give this a whirl today about entitlements because there's something that really drives me up the wall about people thinking about entitlements. I mean, look, there's a lot of things out there people don't understand, okay? Okay, people, here we go. So, let me give you another example. My family thinks, okay, that people like Higgins shouldn't own a house, all right? Higgins says, oh, well, I shouldn't pay taxes. Well, I agree. Taxes suck, okay? I'm paying 21% taxes on booze. Where's the money going? They claim, oh, the booze money goes to the mental health system. Okay, if the mental health system I'm paying for out of my tobacco and booze tax, beer, liquor, spirits, then I'm entitled for the mental health system to fucking work, okay? And we wouldn't have this problem with all these mentally ill people going through the revolving door. Even so, it knows this. Now, there's people out there, right? The government turns around and tells Higgins, we're entitled to you paying our taxes every year for your house. Higgins, of course, I agree with Higgins. He shouldn't pay taxes. If your house and property is paid in full, you shouldn't be paying for it anymore. You've paid your dues. But no, they want to nickel and dime you to death, okay? Now, is Higgins entitled to a new computer? In Higgins' opinion, yes. To me, a basic computer, Alder Lake or Celeron, fine and dandy, works. If he wants an Intel, we'll get him a Celeron. I don't give a shit if it's fucking $200 and works. It just does the job that he needs to, okay? I don't care if it's got a 512 gig SSD and he wants a fucking 4 terabyte. He's not entitled to it. He's entitled to what I give him because it's my priority to give him a present, okay? Now, my family, of course, thinks Higgins isn't entitled to a new computer. It's a luxury item. If he can't maintain a 20-year computer, then Higgins isn't entitled to jack shit, in their opinion. They think, okay, they're Republican, that Higgins isn't entitled, in their opinion, for government handouts like Lifeline. If he can't afford a phone, he doesn't need to call it. Now, if he's got and I think he's entitled, because he's got to advocate for lower internet pricing every month, so he's entitled to that. The internet is a luxury item. Okay, let's break it down here. Okay, I'm going to break this down. Entitlement versus necessity versus entitlement. Okay, entitlement versus necessity versus needs. There you go. To their opinion, Higgins doesn't need a house because he can't afford it. He can't afford the tax. Strip it, let someone else pay the taxes. He can go to an apartment. Same time, they turn around and they don't want Higgins in a subsidized apartment because now they stripped him of his house. They don't want to pay the subsidized apartment. Say Higgins rents like $200 a month, okay? Actually, it'd be like $100 a month, okay? But let's just say out there in Michigan, his rent may be $900. The government's paying $800, so their government tax dollars is paying $800 a month. They don't think they want $800 a month. That's say $9,600. Let's just say it's $9,600 a year for his rent. They don't think paying $9,600 for one person is, in their opinion, they're entitled not to pay it. Now you're saying, okay, that makes sense, but it's a necessity. So what's Higgins do? They're going to set up a tent city, and Higgins lives in a tent, living on, say, SSI the rest of his life because that's what they think he's entitled to. Yes, in their opinion, yes. Then they cut out the government electricity subsidy unless Higgins has a jackery. They cut out the subsidy for housing. Then they turn around and say, oh, well, we got rid of Higgins off the house. Okay, he's living in a tent. Now they say, oh, Higgins doesn't need the electricity subsidy or the gas subsidy or the water subsidy or the garbage subsidy. We stripped it all because it's more money for us. Let the poor get poorer. Now how is Higgins going to dispose of his trash? He's got to go around to dumpsters that they put out and hope like hell. Let's just say he's paying $20 a month for his tent space. And he's paying $40 for trash removal because that's what they're charging. And then they're charging him $20 for water because of it. They don't care if he's in a tent. They don't care if I'm in a tent. Now, let's break it down for the next part. Necessity. New computer isn't a necessity. Now, to Higgins, maybe it is, okay? But here's how I see technology, okay? Unless you truly need it, you can go without. Now, Higgins and his phone and his battery thing, yeah. Now, Higgins knows I was poking fun at him about not needing, but I'm working with an SDS 200. Now, Higgins has never taken the opportunity in our discussions on the phone or an email. The necessity. See, I'm working with him to get him an SDS 200 scanner, okay? Is a scanner a necessity? No. As a prepper, I use my scanner to know what's going on in the surrounding 8 counties and Canada. What if there's something wrong and you can't get your phone's down? You can listen on the radio. That's what it's for. But for someone like Higgins, unless you're basically seeing the entire digital, certain areas, certain things are encrypted. You won't know. Now Higgins says, oh, what if your radio goes down, your cellular radio or something? Well, let's break it down, okay? Now Higgins went out and bought these radios, these Unitins. They work okay. He said that. But is it a necessity? No. He claims, oh, well, I've got these battle things, me and my mom. Yes. Fortunately, let's just say Higgins uses it, hypothetically, okay? I've had this argument time and time again in this channel. And Higgins uses it, and the government finally gets restored. He gets nailed with, say, his radio's taken in a $2 million fine for using the radios when he's not certified to use them. That's the question. The government can say, oh, Higgins is a Republican and he thinks he's entitled to use these radios in emergency, contacts his mom. Next you know, he's sitting in the gulag for 2 years or 5 years because he used the radios. Is Higgins entitled to it? Yes. Do I think ham radios should be license free? Unfortunately, I do, because I don't think you need to pay $70 for 10 years and take a course just to know how to build a radio. I mean, look, a lot of these people out there use FRS. They're crappy. GMRS barely works. I mean, look, Higgins and I have done a lot of research. I got several sets of radios in here. I think it's Rhapsody radios and um, a Unit and Midland. They all fucking suck, okay? So if I'm going to go buy a Baofeng and they say, oh, it may work 2 miles without obstructions, I'm not paying $40 to make a radio work 2 miles. Think about it. Now, with Higgins, it may work, but you got to remember, GSRM only works if you have no distance, okay? Is Higgins claims his mom and him need to communicate? Yes. What I would do? Put a CB antenna on your damn roof for both you and your mom. The radio and pay $80, $100, whatever. Set it up with a little car cigarette thing. Power goes out. Oh, well, there you go. But you can use an external antenna on a handheld CB, so it still works. Unfortunately, the problem is, the reason CBs work really well in cars is because of the magnetic antennas on the top, which the magnetic car bounced the radio signals faster and better, made it work like a beacon. Fortunately, we're not talking about radios here for entitlements, but let's get back to my family, okay? They think, okay, that Higgins ain't entitled, and I'm using Higgins here as an example, or myself, or my neighbor Trish, or my neighbor Kathy, or Beer Man, or Chloe. We're not entitled to the food bank. They don't want the food bank. First of all, let me just tell you, in some ways, I don't think the food bank is necessary, okay? Before you say, oh, but everyone needs it, think of the hamburger, the Chub I use as an example. If it's been frozen before 5/17 and it's literally um, um, uh, expired food. I went through my bag. Okay, I had a whole bunch of peaches. 1 out of 12 were bad. One. Well, 1 out of 12. So 11 of them went bad. Yeah. 3 oranges went bad out of 4. No apples went bad. I ate the apples first. Yeah, think about it. Peaches were already bad, so I had to sift through them. Food bank isn't necessary. Well, if you're paying for bad food, then yeah, get rid of the food bank. Now, you could increase the food stamp money by getting rid of the food bank, but these people, they want to get rid of the food stamps. Why? Well, if they have to work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, like my family, both of them work 2 jobs each just to make ends meet where they live. They think someone who's on SSI shouldn't get better cheddars every night. That's a fucking free entitlement in their opinion. Cut it out. So what they want is, they want Higgins, okay, hypothetically, Higgins, if you're watching this, I'm not belittling you. They want people like me and Higgins to live on peanuts, literally little scraps of the master's table. Or as this Irish guy said in the movie, the TV show called Titanic, that I'm scraping by for scraps from the Protestant's table. Think about it, scraps. Because he's Catholic, he wants to go to make a new life in New York. We're basically scraping by. So technically, what do they want? They don't want free food given to the poor. So not only do they not want free food given, because that's a luxury item in their opinion that they can't qualify for, they got to work 2 jobs each. But they also think if Higgins can't afford his cell phone, then that's a luxury item. Oh, Higgins should pay like everyone else, right? Now think about it. What they're trying to say is, honestly, if I'm going to be paying my taxes to support a freeloading mooch like Higgins or Rita or It's Chloe or Zoe. Zoe's not a freeloader. Just throwing that in there as a joke. Or my neighbors. All of these people are retired or disabled in this building. Even boozers are retired drunk at SSI. Think about it. How many of them really want to see their SSI pissed away every month? My family's paying for on beer. Cases and cases of beer. Guy comes back 4 cases every time at $10. That's $40. And then he does oddball jobs so he can buy more beer. The damn recycling cans filled with beer cans, beer cases, and everything else empty. I don't support it. Okay, now, I like my occasional drink, but to have my family turn around and literally say to me, that Brother Higgins' computer, if he can't make a computer last the remainder of his life because he can't afford one, then he doesn't fucking need it. Then you got my family saying that Higgins' items are mostly luxury. Yeah, luxury. Maybe a $10,000 receiver he finds in a pole barn back in the day that's $10,000, maybe worth a couple $100 now, but still. Think about it. Unless you're really going to use a receiver, it's going to collect dust. Okay, but that's between Higgins and the receiver. My opinion is my family thinks this. Okay, my family thinks the working class should pay for the internet. The working class should be paying for the phone service. The working class should get everything that they're entitled to. The poor shouldn't have jack shit because the poor can't afford it. Think about it. If they have to work for their food, we have to work for our food. If we have to work for an internet, they have to work for their internet. Thing is, they don't want anything handed to people. And these are Republicans, okay? Now think about it. Pee Wee's a Republican. I love Pee Wee no matter what. Higgins is a Republican, yet Higgins thinks in some ways he may be entitled, but everyone else should go fuck off. Fortunately, my family thinks Higgins should go fuck off because, frankly, he's a mooch and they don't want to pay for his freeloading moochiness. Now, to me, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say there's certain items you're entitled to. Yeah, the internet ain't one of them. That's a luxury item. Me going on YouTube and paying, if I have to pay full price for internet, and I got neighbors paying $80 a month for 10 megs CenturyLink, and they're fucking griping that they can't get Alaska's deadliest catch to buffer because it's so damn slow, then save some money instead of investing it all in beer and go and get better internet, and then pay the same prices you're paying for CenturyLink. Oh, wait, but they can't because they got to buy alcohol and pot all the time. 5 years ago, 65 years ago, we got a deal. Free installation, $300 value for the wireless and the meshes and this and that and everything else. 5 years. Last year, the router went. They replaced it. No questions asked. Am I entitled to the router? Yes. Why? Because I paid for the fucking thing. I paid for the fucking thing monthly. They replaced it. No problem. Now, dear old dad, he has to buy his own because his internet company is not providing it. He's bitching last night that he's entitled to a free router. Yeah, if you're Higgins, you can say the same thing. But Higgins, I don't know if he's paying monthly through his internet provider or if he's got his own router. I mean, frankly, it's none of my business. But am I here to say, are we arguing about it? Yes. My family thinks people like me and Higgins and Zoe and Chloe don't deserve the internet. They think that we should go to the library and be on our smartphone going, oh, yeah, that's great, Higgins. That's great. Yeah, I'm emailing you on my phone. Or they think that if we're going to have a smartphone, we should be entitled to pay the smartphone price of $50 to $80 a month so we can have the data plan. Think about it. They don't want Higgins waking up every morning and saying, I'm poor. I need internet. Maybe it's his entertainment. Think about it. I keep him entertained by using this, but he needs to give me his address. I want to get him a present. Fortunately, we're not here to pick on Higgins. I'm just telling you guys Higgins sent me something about entitlements, and I'm just running with it this morning because people need to realize there's things out there. Do I believe that people are entitled to free cell phone service? No. I mean, you can get away with paying $150 for 4 bases, rechargeable batteries in the back, 4 phones. I also got a business phone in my office. Guess what? $9 a month for one number. It's $22 a month for 3 numbers. I got 3 phone numbers. Think about it. I'm allowed up to 4. So think about it. One is going to be used specifically for people calling in live, and I can use speakerphone, like Tilda or Light. Fortunately, the problem with that is I get 2 or 3 voicemail boxes. Now, you guys can sit there and say, but Rita, am I entitled? No. But for $9 a month, but then you have to have internet connected to it. So a lot of people think that these are too expensive. $20 for what? Phone service. $20 for a cell phone. Think about it. $15 for the phone, $20, or $15 for the plan, $20 for the phone, one time plus tax. Not bad. Even Zoe is looking at one of these. Is it worth it? Yeah. The Nokia. Look at this big screen. That's all you need. A lot of these elderly, half of them, like the old beard up guy next door, doesn't even know how to get his email off his phone. And then they claim they're entitled for everything. You're not entitled to shit, okay? Now, family thinks, should the internet be free? No. They think if you're going to have the internet, then you need to pay for it. Now, Higgins, they think, me and Higgins, they don't complain about me because I pay full price. And I've always paid full price for internet because, frankly, it's something I use. But when you have the government turn around and offering you Prime service for half the price, and now streaming services want to do the same thing, have a food card, cut your streaming service by half, but you still got to deal with commercials. Or we'll give you a deal, but you have to watch commercials. They think if you pay full price for these streaming services, you're entitled to it. But if you turn around, they don't think you're entitled to food stamps. They don't think you're entitled to food stamps, Medicaid, Medicare. They don't want any of it. You know what they think? A lot of these damn family turns around and they think, you ready for this? They think that you're not entitled to Medicaid because they don't want to pay for your free glasses, free hearing aids, free sex changes. That's another thing. If they can get rid of Medicaid and Medicare and have something where sex changes aren't covered and glasses aren't covered and hearing aids aren't covered and just basically go to the doctor and get a prescription, they're happy with it. But when you're offering hearing aids, eyeglasses, sex changes, dental, they don't want to pay for it because why? Well, think about it. They got to work for it. If they got to pay for their hearing aids, their glasses, their contact lenses, then they don't want anyone else to have it. Look at how many blue states cover sex changes. They think that if you want a sex change, pay it out of your own damn pocket. Yeah, think about it. And yet, they think people like me, people like Higgins, people like, well, I don't know if Zoe's on food stamps, but let's just say she is, hypothetically. They don't want Zoe on food stamps. They want Zoe to work. They don't want Zoe editing a book that they know is going to go down in flames, has the only book that makes 100 copies through its life because, the advertising thing stinks. You see where I'm going with this? My point is my family wants everyone to fucking suffer. I mean, look at it. They're angry. Oh, Rena, no. My sister, same thing. She doesn't want. She thinks she's entitled to free phone service, free internet service, free food stamp service. People like me, we're not entitled to shit because we didn't pay into it. Yeah. So you ask me, needs versus wants versus necessity. I'm gonna argue here, okay? Let me use the restroom again because my argument is completely valid in what I'm about to say, and I want to have a clear conscience when I say this, okay? Okay, so here we go, people. Let's just go ahead and poke fun at the honey badger again for a minute, but we're going to use Higgins as an example, and my family again. So let's just say Higgins goes, right? And he says, I need internet and I need a new computer. I give him a new computer and programs it. Okay. I'm planning to give him a little micro PC thing, right? That's my goal this year by Christmas. All right. Higgins has already earned it. Okay. That's the thing. He's earned it. He's entitled to it. I just got to get his address. I'm entitled to his address because if I don't get his address, well, then he doesn't get a new computer. And the problem is, I think he wants Intel, and he can go fuck off. He gets what I give him. So if I give him an Intel Alder Lake, oh well. Okay. But we're not here to talk about what computer he's entitled to. We're here to talk about necessity. Okay. Now Higgins can claim his internet is a necessity. Okay. Fortunately, in some ways it is. All right. Now, before you sit there and say, well, Higgins ain't entitled to the internet, that's true. Fortunately, I want to. Oh, great. Barbecue sauce on my fucking computer again. The shit I gotta go through. Where's that fucking spray bottle of crap? Is it down here? Yeah, here it is. So, here's the thing I want to share with you guys about the internet, okay? Now, Higgins can turn around and say he's entitled to it. Yeah, he pays for it. But what if the internet company turns around, okay, and says, oh, well, you're entitled? Then we're entitled to give it to you, but instead of you let's just say Higgins turns around and he complains. He says, oh, well, I'm entitled to a discount every month, okay, hypothetically, right? So the company turns around and says, okay, so they finally turn around and send him a new bill. Instead of paying, say, $50 a month, like, let's just say hypothetically he can't afford. Let's just say he can. Who knows? I'm just poking at him, but I'm making a statement here. They decide, okay, we're going to give it to him for $10 a month, every month. But instead of running at 50 megs download, now he's running 10. He may be able to get the internet and do basic tasks. And then I'll be like, oh, you cut down my speed. Well, the new plan is $10 a month. Government's paying for it. You get 10 megs download with 1 meg upload. Now, he can accept that. Or he can sit there and bitch about it. And then he'll be like, I'm entitled. No, you're not entitled to shit. They want to capsize you or downsize you. They can't. The government offers you 10 megs a month for free. And they're offering you for an additional $40 a month for 50. You're going to either take the free stuff or not. Now, the family, of course, they would want you, if the government's going to be paying, they want you to run at the slowest speed possible. Let's say my family finds out that new government program comes into effect, right? And I'm paying full price, okay? Now let's just say Brother Higgins never gets on disability, hypothetically. And they give him a new program, new ACP program. And they say, oh, with your internet with, say, let's just say he's with Cox, okay? I don't know what he's with. Because that's Midwest, I'm just giving an example. They decide we're going to give you 3 megs DSL speed. That's what they're going to pay. Government can pay more. But 3 megs? Family would say that's all he needs. You see? Point is here's the thing, okay? Some items are luxury. Some items are not. In my opinion, they can turn around and tell me and Higgins and Chloe the internet is a luxury. Now, Chloe, it is. She's homeless, okay? Unfortunately for Higgins and myself, it's a different story. You see, let me tell you. Higgins, the internet is 50-50. Now, you can sit there and say, what do you mean it's 50-50? What if I told you with Higgins, he truly doesn't need the internet unless he wants to use his internet-based phone. Then he could downsize and go straight with his Straight Talk or his AT&T Mobile or his Verizon prepaid or his track phone or whatever he's got, right? And Higgins can sit here and watch my long-ass video and say, but Rita, hold on, I'm not finished here. I'm making an example here, okay? I'm not trying to pick on Higgins. If anyone thinks I am, I'm not. It's a 50-50 mixed bag for internet needed for him. The internet is a luxury item in my family's opinion, but Higgins, it isn't. But Higgins, my family thinks, doesn't need the internet because he's got a car, so he can just get in and be like, oh, yeah, I get $900 in food stamps a month. He doesn't get that much. If he did, we'd all hear about it. Trust me, I'm just making an example here. So he drives over to the store and gets his groceries for the month. Groceries, plural. Yet, he can go to the store because he lives in the Midwest and he has a car. We're start figuring. Now, Higgins probably thinks, well, the government should give him discounts on gas and insurance and repairs. My family doesn't agree. You own a car, you pay for it. Now, it's a mixed bag when I say, is the internet and computer necessity for Higgins? Well, in Higgins' opinions, he needs it. Now, he hasn't explained why he needs it, but let me explain to you on my situation, okay? I live on an island. Now, Higgins can argue the same thing with me. It's not necessary. My family thinks the same thing. My family thinks I should be living in a tent. Unfortunately, the reason my family thinks I should live in a tent is because they don't want me having internet. You see, they think a shopping cart and going and paying $7 a gallon for milk is better than paying $17 and getting 7 gallons of powdered milk mixed together. $17 or 7? To me, the internet is used as a tool for YouTube, which they don't watch my YouTube channels anymore. Again, they're too busy in their swimming pool thinking, well, whatever. I love them dearly. But when it comes to me, they think I should pay $7 a gallon for milk. Support locally. Wrong answer. They think the internet's some painful price. I'm entitled to it. But, paying for a full internet, I still don't have my own Rock Island email address. They won't set it up for me. They never have in 5 years. I've just said, fuck it, I'll use Gmail. Fortunately, the problem with my internet is I use it for ordering everything. So with Higgins, he can just send in the car and go, oh, I'm going to Home Depot today. I need a new stove. Me, I got to go online, do research, and say, okay, look, Higgins knows this. That's why Higgins and we have an understanding. My family, they understand to a point. If I'm going to be paying for food, I'm not paying $5 for a can of ravioli when I can get it for $1. I'm not paying $1 for 2 packs of ramen when I can get a case for $7. You see, certain issues of the internet is a necessity for most people. Think about it. How many people out there? Now, a lot of people say, well, if we have the internet and we keep advancing the internet, eventually we're going to have the phone in our pocket and we can just sit there and place our order at the grocery store and walk out with just a bottle of booze or beer. But then when Amazon starts selling booze and beer, well, then the stores may be out of business. You see, most stores these days, they're literally losing money hand over fist to Amazon and other companies. Plain and simple. Yeah, think about it. And that is why people are literally saying it's a necessity. Now, Higgins, if you're watching this and you're enjoying this channel, please tell me the reason you need the internet. I'm just curious. Okay, I'm not going to belittle you, but my family thinks everything's a luxury item. Higgins breathing air in, and me breathing air in, and Chloe breathing air. We're wasted their tax dollars. We're wasted space, in their opinion, because to them, they're Republicans that pay taxes, believe in guns, and they don't give a shit about, they don't want their tax dollars paying for people that are, look, family moved. Why'd they move? They didn't want to pay for sex changes. Their property taxes went from 200,000 to 400,000 to 800,000. When they said the houses were 800,000, they cashed out, moved. They didn't want to pay for the Medicaid to pay for a Hispanic woman getting a complete new cooter because they don't want a penis or boobs. And yet, someone who has self-esteem issues shouldn't be getting free tits, bigger tits, implanted tits. They wanted to punish, so they left for a state that they could literally tell people what they really truly feel without fucking hurting the snowflakes who the snowflakes claim, oh, well, I'm a woman, you gotta accept me. Oh, yeah, I'm a real woman, you gotta accept me. They got tired of the snowflakes like the Chloes and, so, yeah, to me, it's their opinion. They're entitled to their own damn opinion. I'll give it to them. At the same time, I want to ask you guys, before I take a nap, what is a luxury to you? Is buying eggs a luxury? By moderated Gabby's opinion, probably it is, because paper towels is now a luxury. I remember her saying paper towels is like something you hoard and use very little of now, which I agree. But for sake of the argument, what do you guys consider luxury? Now, I think moderator Tara J would say, if she was watching this, that luxury would be, or moderator Lexi, luxury would be not going with basic Kraft macaroni and cheese or the generic, but actual deluxe, which I eat deluxe. I like deluxe. Deluxe is so creamy, like that pouch and 4 cheese, delicious. The garlic cheddar, delicious. Is that a luxury? Maybe. But I just can't stand the milk, the dry powder, and the oil mixture and the mac and cheese. What else? Let's see. Do you think the internet's a luxury? Do you think you can live without it? Most people can't. That's why the internet companies are capping and doing this, do that. Do you think having commercial-free YouTube is worth $15? There's ways around if you know what you're doing. I still haven't figured that out. Do you think other items are luxury items? Yes, maybe. Is a lot of stuff you can go without? Maybe. Think of the guy in Alaska that lived in his own cabin for 30 years. He was a basic man with basic needs. Give him sheep, meat, fish, and beans, and he's happy. Could you live on sheep, meat, beans, and fish? Think about it. What do you classify luxury and what do you classify non-luxury? To me, I classify the owner of the boat, buying a boat, that's a luxury item. I classify the maintenance loan is going to be damaging a loan on his finances. I classify him paying $90, mind you, before Higgins complains about that. He can literally email me about this. I will defend Higgins on this. The owner of the boat thinks $90 to $300 flats of salmon or halibut is worth it because that's what he eats is fish. Now, Zoe and I both know that's a fucking luxury item. Zoe also knows paying $70 to $90 or more for a filet mignon 8-ounce is a luxury item. So I joke with her about the $11 steak. The reason I made the joke with the $11 steak is because to me it's a luxury item. To her it isn't. It's probably a full meal, but for me, $11 is a lot of money for a steak dinner. Now, if it was a rib steak, I'd basically be on board of it, or a T-bone or porterhouse, but it's just basically a New York or petite. I don't know. Steak's got to have some good fat marbling to make it tasty, in my opinion. But we're not here to talk about steaks. We're here to talk about what is a luxury item. Now, let's just put it this way, okay? For 8 months, all right, we're going to change the subject for a second. I'm talking about luxury items. For 8 months, I dealt with Zoe, all right? Going out to eat, going out to have a couple drinks, those are luxury items. I'll admit it. Going into a bar and having Zoe pay $15 a shot for Bailey's, that's a luxury item. You can go and buy $15 and get the generic for an entire bottle of Dugan's. We didn't learn that lesson until later. But me helping Zoe out with a lot of projects and her buying lunch or dinner, that was well worth it. But to some of you out there, you think that's a luxury item. Think about it. Higgins turns around and says, "Oh, well, I can't afford." Well, guess what? My family doesn't want you to afford it. That's why they want you to basically have nothing and be happy. They want you to basically be denied your benefits and then laugh to the bank while they drive a 3-ton pickup truck with a diesel engine while giving you the bird saying, "Fuck you, you've had your time, you don't get anything." They want you to live on a Intel Alder Lake netbook type processor for your computer. They want you to basically suffer, okay? They want me to suffer. I mean, literally. If they can't be successful, we can't be successful, you see? So in the end, eating out is a luxury. Yeah. Eating out's a luxury. Eating in's a luxury if you're living on foods. I mean, look, they turn around, okay? They turn around, and what do they say to me? Eggs and bacon's a luxury item. I'm supposed to live on ramen. Yeah, think about it. I live on ramen anyways. It's easy, but sometimes not easy on my tum-tum. Better cheddars, that's a luxury item in their opinion. Bratwurst, if I can get a hold of firecracker brats, that's a luxury. Which reminds me, I need to check on some at Safeway while I'm thinking about it. Just see, did they discontinue them? I heard the firecrackers are. Last time I was there, they didn't have any. So I was like, where's my brats? Okay. So basically, the question is it literally, you see, I was going to order it and have it order and a pickup, Let's see, because I want to eat, here it is, meat, seafood. That's what I want. Sausage, hot dogs, bacon. There we go. See, so the bottom line is everything in their opinion, like bratwurst, and here we go. There we go. Some better cheddars right there. 12 links, $9 on sale. I got it for $5 the last time, but they said that was $5 within, they. Okay, can we actually sort this by price, low to high? There we go, because I actually want to see this. Because of that, look at that, $4 for basic hot dogs. That's that. I was looking for the Hillshire cheese sausage ropes. They don't have those. Apparently, that's a luxury item, by the way. So, select maple breakfast sausages. That's on sale this week. Turkey smoked Polska, turkey Polska. That's on sale this week. Smoked sausage hot. Yeah, but every time I try there, they don't have the hot sausage available unless it's in the back. I've always wanted to try the hot sausage rope. I might do it next month if they have it in. So you guys are sitting there thinking, well, what am I looking for? I'm looking for the brats. Yeah, bratwurst themselves. This is a undue leaves. So basically, it's a luxury item. Here we go. Bratwurst. There we go. See if we select bratwurst. Oh, here we go. Italian sausage. Turkey. Yeah, see that? Okay, that's beer broads, which is not really beer broads, regular broads. Here we go. So what we're looking for is, here we go, Italian sausage, original brats, beer and brats, beer and brats, sausage Italian, and there you go. See, they got rid of firecracker again. I was hoping for the firecracker, unless they firecrackers more. Oh, here it is. So they raised it $1. See, there we go. So you can get 5 links firecracker, and then there's a little smokies. They charge a lot. Those are beef. Oh, and they charge $2 more for cheddar beef smokies. Oh, there's the cheddar brats. I love those cheddar brats. They're on sale too. That's $2 more. Johnson Better double cheddars. They're on sale new. Oh, they have those. And you know what? I'm gonna have to try those too. So they have 5-pack. So you know what? Is it a luxury item? Yes. Will I buy it for myself? Yes. Why will I do? Because it's food. Now, to me, I find that if I'm going to buy brats and sausages and I load it up, that's my meals for the month before I switch to ramen. Fortunately, I think if I'm paying for this stuff, then I'm entitled to have what I'm entitled to. Okay? Now, if Higgins gets a $800 food stamp, hypothetically doesn't, and he buys 30 days of brats, he's entitled to, but he's also entitled to the heart attack that goes with it. Fortunately, I'm not going to belittle him on his food choices. Now, maybe he's lazy and he wants the microwave. Maybe he can't use the stove. Maybe he doesn't know how to use the oven. Whatever the reason, it's his business. But for the sake of the argument of entitlements, in my opinion, you are entitled to eat what you want if you can afford it. You shouldn't have family members and friends belittling you over every stinking little thing. Yeah. So, think about that. Is the internet a luxury item? For some people, it's a necessity. A medical necessity or a mental necessity to keep you entertained, right? Some people say, oh, well, then they look at me. When I first got the internet, I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, what is this? This is weird. Dial up. It got better over time. Still, you dial up the internet, wait for it to log in, then you go check your email, and then you log out. Or I would compose all my emails I needed to my contacts saved on my laptop and then send it out as soon as I dialed up, then disconnect. Plain and simple. Back in the day, it worked. You didn't always need to have access to your email. Nowadays, too many people want access to their email. I mean, look, back in the day, 20 plus years ago, I had the first. Let me see if I can actually find it for you because I actually want to tell the story today because it was an interesting concept. I think it was T-Mobile. I don't even remember what it was. A long time ago. It was like 2002. 2002, I think it was. 2002, was it? it might have been. Yeah. Let me see. Here it is. Let me share this with you. It says T-Mobile Pocket PC phone. There it is. Single springs and August 1st, merging voice and data in a single device. Of course, it's been tried before back in 94, yada, yada, yada. So what's T-Mobile Pocket PC? How does it work? Made by HTC of Taiwan, the company that's OEM, ODM, original equipment manufacturer, majority of all Pocket PCs. Pocket PC standards, the T-Mobile, the small handling measuring. Let me show you the, I'll share with this. Yeah, that's what I had right there. Fortunately, it was, yeah, I thought it was interesting, Yeah, 70 million subscribers and that projected price of $549. Yeah, I paid actually like $9.99 for mine when it came out, but that was back in 2002. I thought it was phone edition. It had phone, it had pocket windows. That's how I learned about it. But eventually, I'll give you guys the link just because you guys might want it. And I'll put it in this bottom in the link here, right there. If you guys can get it, there we go. So there it is. T-Mobile, yada yada yada, data. Yeah. So basically, it's the T-Mobile Pocket PC Phone Edition. I wonder if you can actually get that. T-Mobile Pocket PC Phone Edition. Let's see if we can still get one on eBay just out of nosiness. Higgins will be like, I don't need it. Yeah, that's a luxury item. Here we go. Yeah, nope. That's the iPack. The iPack. Parts only. This one's parts only. It's a broken screen in a box. Nope. Parts only. Parts only. Now, is that interesting? The box 1300 graded. I didn't know they graded phones out. Then they graded games. I guess, that's funny as hell. Asus My Pocket Pal PC Windows Mobile PDA Chinese. Yeah, if you want Chinese. Higgins probably may. Come on, I'm just joking with you guys. He's kind of weird at times, he sends an email out, Okay, so we got the Pocket PC Phone Edition. Let's just see if we can do that. Pocket PC Phone Edition new. I'm just checking just to be funny here. Here we go. Microsoft Voice Command. That's it. So nothing about Phone Edition. Yeah, it's all voice command. Open box for $900. Don't you just love all this nostalgia and they charge you an arm and a leg and people say, oh, well, I'd use it. And it's like, yeah. No, this is new for 20. Yeah, look at this. Crap. Yeah. Pocket PC edition new. Here we go. Again, you choose new edition. It comes up with nothing about Pocket PCs. That's the funny thing, family tells me, Higgins is like, oh, you don't need it. Well, that's true. You don't need it. But still, I always like to see what you can get your grubby hands on, as a luxury item. People say, well, it's outdated. It may be outdated, but still, I think it's funny, because a lot of people sit there, and they're like, well, you don't need this. You don't need that. Like the Giornata. You can get 2 Giornata for $200, and Chloe's like, oh, you should get one of those. Well, maybe. Unfortunately, if you've seen the design thingy in a pocket, Windows Pocket PC, Windows Pocket PC Edition new. See, it changes the formula to Windows Pocket PC and it pulls up that. See? Doesn't even pull up anything on it. Yeah. You got nothing but, you actually got to go, like, for example, you want compact, you have to put compact. There's a cool looking computer, but they want freaking. Anyways, let's just talk about that for a minute. So, a lot of family says to me, it's, a lot of people, oh, there's one right there, Sprint, but it's used. This one's a iPac Classic. A lot of them that's touchscreen. They don't even give you a pin. That's why I was looking for a pin. Of course, Higgins. He's like, oh well, you can't, it has a pin, But let me explain the whole Windows thing for you real quick. Okay, the reason why I like these things is because there's a Windows Aero computer right there, compact Aero. Fortunately, half of these ones back in the day, they didn't really work worth the damn. And when you get a new one, you got to hope, like how the battery thing, which I'd like to share with you something about that eventually. But if you put in like compact, you put in compact Windows PC new, right? Compact Windows PC new, right? Pocket web, compact pocket Windows PC. That'll knock it down a lot. Pocket Windows PC. Okay, there we go. See? Then you pull it up. It's right there, right? No pins. They don't give you a pin with it, right? But you can put in new and it'll search some stuff like this is pre-owned. And then they put in other crap that they think you may want. So luxury items, maybe. But anyways, what's the whole point of the story? Well, I started out with the thing, but you got all these people. They think, oh well, someone's gonna pay $500 for this. Maybe some old fart wants for nostalgia purpose. Me, let me just tell you my thoughts. Okay. Now, back in the day, I would use some of these, but they didn't have pins. Some of them didn't have pins. I wouldn't buy it. Now, nowadays, you don't need pins, right? Nowadays, everything's on the phone. Higgins is like, oh, you need one smartphone. Fortunately, the problem with smartphone is too much data is in the smartphone. So, one of the reasons why I was looking at the Jornada or the Palm Pilot is because of your data. What do you got to lose? What you putting in a number or two, carrying around. I mean, let me put it this way. I'll tell you my opinion on the Palm Pilot and the Jornada. Okay, now I can invest in a Palm Pilot or a Jornada, no problem. Fortunately, Higgins is always like, oh, you don't need this and you don't need that. Well, the battery thing for him, maybe he needs it. But am I actually going to complain about those items? No, because you know what? Half the time I wrote shopping list down on the fridge there, Chloe wouldn't take it. Then she says, oh, they don't have it. Then I go to the store and I find the item, right? So what if I have a Palm Pilot? It's got batteries in it. Flip it open and I'm filling it out on the ferry for 45 minutes. Grocery shopping list, right? I put it in my pocket and take it with me and I flip it out. I'm like, right? That's fine and dandy. I can put in, one guy said, the Palm Pilot was good just for, he thought it would change his life. All he did was shopping list. Yeah. I mean, and then you have to delete it anyway because once you upload it to a computer, the system literally gets cluttered with a shopping list. Okay, for $20, you know that, right? Higgins says, "Oh, you need this." Okay, well, let's put it this way. Okay, a smartphone is a luxury item. Yeah, and I mean, literally, if you're paying for a smartphone, then it's a luxury item, in my opinion, because that's what it is. It's just a downright luxury item, right? Now you can sit there and say, well, what isn't a luxury item? Well, think about it. I got a nap soon. Think about it. Now, the Giornata was a luxury item back then, but let's break it down, okay? I gotta use the restroom again. Let's break it down. The Palm Pilot. What do you get? An address book. How many addresses do I have? Most of them are backed up at Google anyways. Fine and dandy. Don't need the address book. Shopping list, $20. No problem. The memo pad, don't need it that much. Now let's just say the Windows PC. Now let's break down the Windows PC. Okay, let's just say I go and get a $200 brand new Jornada, right? First of all, the 20 or $30 Palm Pilot takes batteries, so I can just slap them in, slap them out, but you can't update the software on the computer because you don't have the Windows. It's not compatible. So you'd have to have Higgins and I play with it to get it compatible. Ain't gonna happen. The Jornada, for example, let's just say I get it compatible. What am I going to use it? What if the battery is completely dead in the Jornada? Let's just say I get a brand new one, I plug in it doesn't hold the charge after 20 years. We don't know what battery it is. Higgins can look it up, but what's the point, right? So let's just say I get into it, right? First of all, you need an external device to run the internet. So you can't run browser. It's got Internet Explorer built in. Ain't gonna work, right? So what are you using it for? Shopping list? Make chicken. Okay. Now I watched a review last night. Or say I write a shopping list down, right? One tab shopping list. Milk, eggs, cheese, butter, soda, beer, whatever. Right? It would come in handy if I remembered everything on the shopping list I needed from the grocery store, right? Now, old man Magoo, the guy who owns boat, he could use one of these, but he wouldn't probably pull it out anyways because half the time he can't remember to pull out his own phone with a shopping list. Nowadays, with all these technology and these people and the conveniences, people have forgotten. Now, paper's outdated. The shopping list, outdated. Now you're sitting there thinking, okay, what about me buying a tablet, a phone, or a phablet? I could do it, but again, it's a luxury item. Why would I want to spend a boatload of money for a luxury item when, I mean, look, Chloe paid like $80 recently for a new phone again. I think she upgraded from like A13 Samsung to something a little faster because of it. But, the point is it's a luxury item. Now you can sit there and say, well, Rita, what is and what isn't a luxury item? Well, you see, for example, let's look at, let me Google something real quick just to discuss this. All right, here we go. All right, so let me look here. There's a couple things I want to see here. Do we have it? Okay, so apparently Windows Mobile. All right, I'm looking at Wikipedia here. Is this another thing? Here we go. Windows Mobile. First version of Windows Mobile is 2003 for Pocket PC editions. Okay, for Pocket PC. Let me just open this. Yeah, Windows Mobile 2003. What do you get with it? Second edition and third edition. Windows Mobile. Okay, so there's a picture. This is perfect. Perfect picture, I think. Yeah, okay. So looking at this, right? So, for example, for $30, I can buy a Palm Pilot, and I can use the address book, right? I can put in anything, or I can use one of my 9 planners that I have at home, as you all know, that I still use. And I can plan that perfectly, right? Now, for example, let me just look at the picture here. Actually, I think I'm. Can I actually save this image? Yeah, I can. Okay, so I just want to save it, share it with you. Okay, so say I wanted to use the Giornata, and I buy the Giornata, right? Let's see. Internet Explorer can't work. Higgins and I would argue with that one. Okay, let's just say it doesn't work. Okay, and the phone isn't running. Let's just say we're skipping the phones, right? So what am I using? The calendar? Oh yes. Appointment with Higgins. Put that in it, right? Appointment with Higgins, right? Yeah, not bad, right? Appointment with Higgins. Email won't work because you need a special device to connect to the internet. So what else are we doing? Okay. Well, let's just say so. Yeah. So what happens? Well, let me just say, okay. So then the Pocket PC, right? Well, what else do you get with it? Well, you get Excel Mobile. Okay, Word Mobile. Let's just say I use Excel, right? We're just gonna have a little chat here for a second, right? Excel Mobile. What happens with Excel Mobile, right? Excel Mobile, right? Pocket PC. Hold on. So you basically pull up a little mobile device. What does it say? Tasks and etc. Buy groceries. Let's just say my entire grocery list is on top thing. Is it really worth it? Higgins and I would both agree no. Unfortunately, um, would I use it for the phone? No. Yeah. Let's see. Windows 6.5. I'm just looking at this. Is laugh. January 2010. Yeah. Pocket PCs, Windows up to 6. Okay, then smartphones took over. Pocket PC 2000, 2002, mobile 2003. Windows 6.5 not available. So the last one was 6. Yeah. So, anyways, they discontinued it because most people have Android and Windows is. I don't even know. Is there a Windows phone still? Who knows? He can probably tell me that, but I don't really care. Okay. So basically, you get a Windows tablet, right? You spend the money and you get something that's a luxury item. My family. What am I going to use with it? Higgins is right? The nostalgia. Say I do get it to work, right? For example, say I get it to work for 10 years. 10 years, and then it fails. I got to go find another one. Maybe this time 10, 20, a 30-year-old tablet's now more money, right? So my point is think of the price, right? People are trying to sell it, thinking some person will pay nostalgia, right? I'd use it. Fortunately, half the features wouldn't work anyways for 20 years ago. Now that's why they say update your Windows operating system. Fortunately, that's a luxury item most people think anyways because it's Windows. Fortunately, that's how they see it and how they do it. So, so in the end, like you said, my family thinks everything's a luxury item. Now Higgins, of course, um, is there any Windows? Let's see. Is there any Windows Pocket PC 2024? No. It just says best gaming PCs of 2024. I said Windows Pocket PC. No. So a lot of you tell me, well, what about going? Oh, let me see here. I just want to see this 2024 best tablets out there. Okay. 1X Player, Steam Deck, Legion, and the Ayano Air. Yeah, well, the question is how much is it going to be? That's the thing if they don't, cheap 739 model. All right, forget that. People are already talking about Steam Deck anyways, but that's the thing I need to know. Steam, I guess I can't, Windows Pocket PC. Okay, so Windows Pocket PC is on. How about Windows Tablets 2024? See, I'm just curious. See, so apparently when you put tablets in, you get a tablet thing. You don't get Windows. Windows phones? Is there Windows phones? I wonder. 2024 here, Windows has really gotten out of the toilet. So 2021 Windows. So apparently Windows 10 phones been discontinued. The end of life of 2020. There you go. So apparently they are now supporting Android. Now, for some of you out there, this is the things that I really dig into as technology. Okay, it's a hobby of mine. So is Higgins. So if someone says Higgins doesn't need a new computer or it's a luxury item, some ways maybe, some ways not. I just like to endorse someone's hobby. I mean, look at Higgins. He may poke the polar bear at times, but he means well. I mean, literally, talking about Palm Pilots is something, I used to have the M100 and M105. I loved it. Nowadays, you don't see any of those nowadays. You can find them dirt cheap, but still, the future is bleak. Now, a lot of people say, well, you need a smartphone and you need this. Yes, if you have the funds for a smartphone. But my opinion is smartphone can be lost when you get into it, take all your data. What do they get out of Windows Pocket PC? They find it, say, oh, ancient. Let's just say it's unlocked and there's nothing in there except the shopping list. I mean, literally, it works. I mean, these phones don't even have data in it. Basically, it tells who owns it or nothing. It's just a basic phone. So, but everything's a luxury item. So, think about it, my friends. Think about it. So, what's my plan? Well, let me tell you my plan. My plan is, like I said, what is necessity and what is entitlements. To me, I believe that people take entitlements for granted. People like to use the word entitlements because they don't like the fact that they're paying through the nose for what they want or what they're getting. Yeah, think about it. Am I entitled to eat? No, it's a God given right. You got to eat or you die. Is Higgins entitled to a new computer? No. But at the same time, Higgins has his own reasons. Now, if Higgins ever comes out and tells me the reason, I will stick it to my family's face. But right now, they think every one of us shouldn't even have a luxury item. Yeah. Yet, my family is funny in that aspect. So, my opinion, think about it. Chew on it. What is literally a luxury item? I mean, literally, remember what I said back in the day if Pee Wee was around. You have to live within your means. I mean, literally. Some people think they're entitled. Now, let me just put it to you this way, okay? When I made the joke to Higgins about buying his own batteries, I meant it as a way that I'm not entitled, but, I'm paying him and helping him get an SDS 200 to keep him entertained, okay? Now, if we didn't agree to the SDS 200, he could have probably had a new computer long ago, okay? Now, we're not here to talk about Higgins and his computers or STS or whatever. Now, is he entitled to the batteries? In his opinion, yes. Okay. In my family's opinion, no. It's a luxury item. Of course, in my family's opinion, being Higgins is on peanuts, and that's the way they want him to live, then he's not entitled because he can't afford it. Now, my family has their own opinions. Now, Higgins, on the other hand, can turn around and say, well, I'm entitled to a new computer. My computer's 15 years old. It's falling apart. Then buy a basic, cheap jalopy computer, $200, run it till you either get approved or denied. If you don't get approved, save up and buy something pre-made. Now he wants custom. Okay, he wants to build what he wants, right? $2,000 video card. Sorry, but I don't think a $2,000. See, I'm poking at him again. That's not necessary. What you need is basics. I mean, look, at your age, you're gonna want basics. You're not gonna want to build something because even if you build it, what do you got to show for it, huh? 6 months later, it's outdated. I'm gonna think. I mean, to me, people say they're entitled. Okay, I do think Higgins is entitled to tell his brother to pay for the gas if he's got to drive all the time, but that's me backing up my brother. But Higgins also knows I think he's entitled to many things. I mean, think about it. He's entitled to breathe. He's entitled to eat. He's entitled to sleep. So am I. Now, we may poke each other, but we'll back each other up, too. That's my brother. Fortunately, the problem is there's too many people out there that think that people like Higgins don't deserve shit. Look at my father-in-law. He thinks, well, if you're going to drive a car, you better be entitled to pay for that damn car. Maybe. But I also believe both of them, Higgins and Dad, you shouldn't be paying property taxes either. That's my entitlement right there to say you guys are entitled not to pay taxes. Now you guys sit there and you say to me, Rita, what is an entitlement? Now, Higgins claims, okay, and I agree with Higgins here, okay? Now, I always poke fun. I say, the government, see, what I believe in and what Higgins believes in and what Dad believes in and family believes is different, okay? My family believes that Higgins ain't entitled to shit, okay? You get what Uncle Sam gives you, and they want you to basically, like the military. It's like the Green Beret movie. You take what Uncle Sam issues and nothing more. Well, in their opinion, that's it. Whereas to me, Higgins is entitled to a roof over his head. Higgins is entitled to food, electricity, everything else. Now, in some ways, when Higgins says, oh, is this a good deal? No. Because unless you really need that item, I mean, look. Let me put it this way, okay? Higgins tells me I don't need a Giornata. I don't need a Palm Pilot. That's fine. I can turn around and say he needs an Alder Lake all-in-one mini PC, but the truth is my family thinks whatever is basic, right? So I go to Higgins, and I say, Higgins, I need to travel to Seattle to see Chloe. I need a computer that can run my spreadsheets, right? He'll just tell me to pull out my laptop, turn it in the back, and go. But what if I want a Chromebook? Then I go and buy a Chromebook so I can use my spreadsheets. But then I have to calibrate it in Chrome OS, which I don't like. I like Libre, okay? It was Zoe notes. But the point I'm making for this argument's sake is, what is luxury? What is luxury versus non-luxury? Luxury is if you pay $6,000 for an Alienware computer and you brag about it. Oh, Higgins, I just got a new Alienware for $6,000. Look, back in the day, Higgins and I talked the other day about computers. My basic laptop, my first Windows PC was like $4,000. Then they moved up. When the Pentiums came out, those Windows computers was $6,000. Of course, Higgins will probably laugh at me, but I had the Toshiba Librettos. Those are the ones I had with the little built-in, it's a nostalgia thing. The mouse is built into the damn screen, basically. You're like, yeah. But anyways, the argument is that was a luxury item back then. Well, then computers started going down in price because everyone wanted them. And people said, oh, it's a luxury item. Now everyone has to have a computer, right? So to me, it's not a luxury item. It's a need for ordering what you need for food-wise. Of course, my family thinks that people like me and people like Higgins, if we can't afford something, we don't need it. No. I mean, think of it this way, okay? For example, Zoe pays no rent in a homeless shelter, but she's got access to the quarter machine so she can do laundry. I'll explain the whole Zoe thing eventually again, okay? But they'd say Zoe doesn't need these things, right? Well, where she used to live here on the island, she had access to wash and dryer. That's a necessity. You got to wash your clothes, right? I have access to wash and dryer. That's not a luxury. That's a necessity. Okay, you can't wear dirty clothes. Higgins knows this. Water tank. That's a necessity. You need hot water. Otherwise, you take cold shower, and those aren't fun. So all these things that some people say is a luxury ain't a luxury. Electricity? Well, you need electricity. It's not a luxury. It's a necessity. Think about the people in the world. Think about Higgins. Let's just say Higgins has gas, okay, which I know he does. He uses his microwave because gas is so expensive. What is he trying to keep his gas bill down? Water tank. There you go. Let's just say he's got to pay water and garbage. Is it a luxury? No. What if you turn around, all right, and you're telling, let's just say the Republicans control everything, okay? Let's just say hypothetically, okay, and the Democrats can't control it. And Higgins is like, oh, yeah, Republicans, yeah, right? And all of a sudden they say, oh, it's a luxury for you to have hot water. And they turn his gas off permanently because of his finances. So he's like, Rita, I don't have hot water. I got to take everything cold. Same goes with his sink, right? Got to use cold water to wash his clothes. He's got a lot. Then they say, oh, having a wash and dryer is a luxury item. You can go to a laundromat. Or they turn around and say, oh, Higgins, Rita, Zoe, your electricity is a luxury item for you. They're not realizing it's not a luxury. What if Higgins has a gas water tank? Let's just say he's got a gas furnace, not electric furnace, just a gas, for example. And he's got to use that gas to stay warm in the wintertime. Well, let's just say his power goes out, right? His gas is still going. He can stay warm. Well, I know it's electric because he was telling me power goes out, it freezes, right? Think about it. A Jackery won't heat his house. That's why I keep telling Higgins, don't buy it. You'd rather basically have fleece blankets to climb under a blanket and stacks of fleece blankets to stay warm as a prepper than a Jackery. Now, Jackery may come in handy for your phones, but let me just remind you, if your phone's working, right, get a couple of those little mini batteries with the solar panels on the top. You stick in the sun, it can charge it up. You charge your phone up maybe 10 times before you need to change the Jackery. You may get like 20 or 30 charges out of your phone, but how many people are going to use their phone during a winter storm? Not me. I keep flip phones, backup flip phones, etc. for one reason. Call Higgins in case for the weather, if the power goes out. He knows I rely on him on that. And he's a good friend and a good brother. And I'll back my brother up by saying certain items you don't need, right? Phone batteries, that's a necessity. Otherwise, you can't talk to me on the phone. And I do like to poke him from time to time. But the point is, for the sake of the argument, electricity, water, sewage, and garbage is not a luxury. Those are the things you need. You need to take the trash out. You don't want to pile up. What if the Republicans say, oh, you don't need to take, poor people can't take the trash out? So all of a sudden, Higgins' backyard's become a trash heap, inviting rodents and mice and rats and everything else because the new law says he can't dispose of the trash. And what if they say sewage is not necessary for him, so it backs up in his basement? Then what? Think about it. It's not a luxury item. Those are necessities to basically keep yourself safe and clean. Same with hot water. Yeah. So what these people are saying is a lot of things are luxury. You go to the store, right? Let's just say you go to the store, right? And let's just say Higgins goes to it. Let's just say me and Higgins both go, right? Higgins goes by better cheddars, and I go by my sausages too. Those could be considered luxury because you're giving yourself a heart attack if you eat too many of them. But maybe that's what we can afford. Maybe I buy the ramen, stay alive, and he buys better cheddars. Still, he's entitled to eat what he wants, okay? Point is, certain items are luxury, but maybe Higgins needs the internet for YouTube. Yeah. Is YouTube a luxury? Yes, because either you're paying for commercials by watching the commercials or you're paying for commercial free, which means you're paying $15 at Google, which to me, Google doesn't deserve $15 because frankly, you got to put up with the commercials. But then Google offers you free Google services, and in return, you got to look at all these ads anyways while you're going through your damn search engines. Yahoo does the same. Lycos, Dogpile, Gopher, they all did the same. Think about it, my friends. When you sign up for internet, you're getting commercials. You're getting ads. I mean, look, back in the day, now they're offering commercial-free services like Max and Paramount and Showtime, Paramount, and Hulu, Netflix, commercial-free if you pay for it. Now, Tubi and Roku TV, commercials. No ifs, ands, or buts. Pluto, same thing. Think about it. Some people will pay the commercials. Some people won't pay for the commercials. Me, I always thought commercials were lame when you had over-the-air TV because they were selling you stuff you don't need. Plain and simple. One time it was a beer commercial. No, you can't have a beer commercial. Back in the 80s, there were cigarette commercials, booze commercials. My favorite commercials were the ones on the Weather Channel for Lionel trains and Lionel trains, and then Get a Train air conditioning heating unit. Yeah, those are my favorites. But back in the day, you used to have wake up in the morning with a fresh cracked egg McMuffin. Now they want to ban those commercials because they think this employs people to go out and buy new fast food products and get fatter. Think about it. I mean, literally. I mean, some of these things are luxury items, like going to McDonald's and getting an egg McMuffin. I mean, literally, the other day, Chloe was telling me she went to Wendy's. Costed her $26 for nuggets at Wendy's. That's a luxury item, man. You don't see Higgins and I go in there. No, I like my nugs at McDonald's from time to time. I also like my Little Caesars. But otherwise, we used to love Taco Bell, but they discontinued it in Anacortes. So, I'm limited on McDonald's or Little Caesars or the Hot Bar at Safeway, which sucks. But these things are convenience and they're luxury items. Do you need them? No, you can cut them out, but then you go hungry. It's like going on the ferry home. Higgins knows I love the hot dogs. I always talk about the hot dog. It's a luxury item. Am I going to pay $5 for a hot dog? Sometimes. Am I going to pay $7.75 for a beer? Sometimes. Point is, those are luxury items. Luxury items like that you can live without. Pickling your brain, you can live without. Hot dogs, you can live without those too. They say each hot dog takes away 5 minutes. Each better cheddar, it's 10 minutes apparently. So think of how many hot dog, better cheddar Higgins had eaten in his life. He's probably cut out 10 years of his life eating those, but he likes them. Let him eat them. It's not a luxury item. It's an entitlement that he's entitled to have. So when people turn around and say, this is an entitlement, that's fine and dandy. That's your damn opinion. But to tell me the milk, eggs, cheese, butter is a luxury item, it's only a luxury item if you can't afford it. Me, I try to avoid butter anyways because, well, I only use it for popcorn. Is popcorn a luxury item? No, just put it in an air popper and pop it. Is milk a luxury item? No, because I use it for my coffee. Or I use this. Someone gave me 6 bottles of this. And 6 bottles of this. One of the moderators gave me the chocolate one, which is really good. Now, you can sit there and say, is those luxury items? No. Makes the coffee taste better. Coffee a luxury item? No. Because a lot of people say, coffee is an addiction. Therefore, you're addicted to caffeine. Maybe. But what if you don't have it? You get headaches. You get sick. Maybe you got to fight the cravings. Think about it. Some things aren't luxury. Eggs? Well, the price of eggs the way it is, to me, it somewhat is a luxury item. But is it an entitlement? No. If you can afford eggs, you buy eggs. I don't buy eggs because, well, frankly, I try to keep my cholesterol down. Do I buy bacon? No, not that often unless it's on sale. Do I buy milk? Yes, all the time. Do I buy cheese? When it's on sale. That's another supposed entitlement. Why is it an entitlement to some people or a luxury item? Because they can't afford it. That's what it is. You can go and tell me my cheese is too expensive for me to buy, but then you'll go ahead and buy a swimming pool, hypothetically. Just think about it. You got to pay the water bill for the pool, the heating for the pool. I knew one guy that put a pool in. He had to pay the water. He had to pay the gas for the propane tank for the thing. Yeah, it wasn't cheap. And he had to pay the insurance for the pool. For that, I could buy a block of cheese and be happy and content without needing a swimming pool. Think about it, people. What one person thinks is a luxury item might not be a luxury item. It might be a necessity in life. A lot of people say, well, computers are a luxury item. Depends. If you're using the computer for email, it's a luxury item. If you're using the computer for spreadsheets and accounting, it's not a luxury item. It's balancing budgets. If you're using the computer and apps and stuff to print out your shopping list, could be considered that. You gotta pay $5 and stack paper like that. Just put it, write down what you need in your list. Check out the boxes and go at the store. $20, $30, you buy Palm Pilot for a shopping list. Keep it with you so you always have a shopping or backup list. Might be a luxury to some, might be a convenience for others. It depends on what you classify as entitlement and what isn't. Now, batteries for a phone, that's a necessity. Plain and simple. Batteries to run a police scanner when the power's out, that's a necessity. Maybe that's your only form of entertainment. Your TV's down. Portable DVD player, let's say. Fanny said that's a necessity. Yeah, but what if you have a jack ring that charges your DVD player 4 times and your power's out for 3 weeks? You can only watch 8 movies, 9 movies. Then you have to put it away because you don't have any more entertainment. Then what? Grab a book, read your book. You finish all your books and the power's still out, and you use your DVD players and that's out, and then you use your jacker, your other secondary jacker, or your EcoFlow to charge the switch. You're gonna get so many charges before that damn thing's dead. So that might be a luxury item for emergencies. But do you need it? No. Do you need an EcoFlow for a light bulb? By Higgins standards, that's considered a luxury. You can pay $20 a year or $40 a year and buy boxes and boxes and boxes of batteries and run AA batteries for 40 hours for LED little lanterns that you pay $25 for 4 of them, and you can use that as your light with 2 batteries. Throw the batteries away when they're done, throw in some more. Spend $30 for a couple fleece blankets each. You're nice and toasty during the power outage in a winter storm. That's all you need. Some things are necessary, some things are luxury. Fleece blanket is not luxury. Fleece blanket is survival. A lot of people these days don't believe in survival. A lot of people just want to say it's a luxury item. I'm sorry to say. But when you start breaking down what you consider luxury, what is necessity or an entitlement, my bottom line is entitlements. You're entitled if you can afford it. You're not entitled to it if you can't afford it. Move along, okay? But there's people out there that are struggling. Higgins, myself, Zoe, Chloe. I mean, literally, they're telling Chloe having a roof over your head's an entitlement. Telling the manager to fuck off, that's an entitlement. And because of it, her freedom of speech, basically, she tells someone that, look what happens. She gets thrown out. She's homeless. She's entitled to a roof over her head. She's entitled to 3 square meals a day. She's entitled to go to the library and use the internet. She's entitled to use the internet at the hotel. She's entitled to use her laptop. Oh, by the way, a laptop on a homeless person, that's a luxury item, apparently. But how many people who protect their computer like Chloe with an SSD goes to the library or goes to Wi-Fi hotspots, checks her email? Yes, they're telling Chloe her smartphone's a luxury item. And then they say, why doesn't Rita have one? Rita believes in flip phones. $15, makes phone calls. Do I need my email on the go? No. Who's going to email me while I'm walking down the street going to town? Higgins? Hey, how are you? And then I got to pull it out, text him back, send an email, and then go on or send a text. I mean, texting on a flip phone is a pain in the ass. But what really is a pain in the ass, my friends, is having people tell us what is considered luxury, what is considered necessity, what is considered entitlement. Because in my opinion, what I think is entitled and what others is a different story. Now, the Republicans, they don't want you to have anything. That's how I see it. Democrats, they want you to pay for it through the Republicans' money. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere where maybe we can all give everyone free phone service and internet. Then again, then they'd say it's a socialist country. I don't know. There's got to be a happy medium somewhere. But am I entitled? No. Am I entitled to take a nap? Yes. Am I entitled to put my pants on in a minute, walk the dog, go in, wash my face up, start my day? Yes. Maybe I'll wash my face up after mopping. Am I entitled to that? Yeah. Am I entitled to climb into bed for 2 hours, take a short snooze? Yes. Am I entitled to fire up the frying pan and make some bacon? Yes. Am I entitled to make some eggs with it? Yes. Am I entitled? Yes. Are you entitled? We're entitled to everything that's given to us. Some say the Bill of Rights is an entitlement. Some say the Bill of Rights is necessity. Some say the other things are right. Are you entitled to turn around? Is Higgins entitled to turn around and say that all trans women are just men in dresses? Yes, he's entitled to say that. It's his opinion. Is Zoe entitled to say she's a princess and she deserves to be taken care of? Yes, that's her opinion. We can't change people's opinions. You can say, well, that's not really an entitlement, but thing is, everyone has their own opinion. Am I entitled to take a nap? Yes. Am I entitled to stay up, drink coffee? Yes. Am I entitled to tell the manager to blow off? No. You got to be nice somewhere down the line. Point is, what an entitlement is for one person may not be an entitlement to others. And think about it. My family thinks there won't be Social Security around because people like Higgins is sucking it up. He's not on disability. He could switch to retirement if he doesn't get disability, but guess what? Are they entitled to open their chili hole and tell Higgins that everything he lives on is an entitlement? Yes. But to tell me and Higgins and other disabled people that we're not entitled to many things because we should just live on peanuts is a different story. Think about it. Am I entitled to give Higgins a computer? No. Is Higgins entitled to a new computer? Only if he builds it or buys it himself, he's entitled, or gets gifted one. Am I entitled? No. Thing is, everything happens for a reason. Think about it. In this day and age, do I think we're entitled to free phone service? No. Do you think the money should be done for someone else? Yes. Do I think we're entitled to strip the military funds here in the U.S., put it towards other programs? Yes. Will we do it? No. While we're paying billions or trillions of dollars a year in military, how are we taking care of our homeless? They haven't come up with that idea yet. In my opinion, we're all entitled not to see homeless on the streets, shitting and pissing in the corners, in alleyways, sleeping in cardboard boxes. We're entitled to walk out. We're entitled not to have gang members threatening lives, and being thugs, and there you go. You know my opinions. What one person says is an entitlement isn't a fucking entitlement. It's a necessity. For me, having the internet is not a necessity. Now, I do think the internet is a good research tool that we pay for every month, and we should. It's got a lot of interesting things on the internet if you know what you're looking for. And am I clueless? No. You want a clueless? Look at Higgins. I think he's clueless at times. When he says to me something and I'm like, look, I'm having the rest, which I did, and dinner. That's not being entitled. Entitled is me to eat ribs. Yeah, I'm entitled. So I cook those damn things. But to be clueless, I'm not clueless. Now, if he thinks I'm clueless because of the whole phone thing, that was way out of proportion. Main thing is he needs it for phone calls. That's fine. But dude, how many people need 20 different phones? That's the thing. How many people need Google Voice? And I mean, I remember a phone program back in the day. I can't even remember what it was called. It was like a phone. It was like 10. And you paid $10 for a Windows app a long time ago, and you could use it to dial people through dial. It was pretty interesting back then. Whatever happened to that one program we used to use back in the day? Is it still around? IRC or whatever, ICR or whatever. I don't remember what it's called, but back in the day, we used to have a program. It was like before AOL came out. It was before AOL. It was something, I used to use it with Fiona back in Australia. It was a good little program. It was a chat program. Yeah. It was like AOL, but it was different. It was I can't remember. ICQ. That's what it was. Yeah, is ICQ still around? Who knows? Maybe. Is ICQ still around? ICQ, I believe it was called. Mobile apps disappeared to Apple apps. There's ICQ. ICQ. Announced it was shut down in June 2024. Oh, wow. See that? ICQ. Last up the year, of course, 27 is a quiet year on. Yeah, see? June 26th. Yeah, see? Good old ICQ is going out of business in 7 days. See? 20. VK Workspace. Yeah, see? ICQ. I used to have ICQ a long time ago. Yeah, see? Long time. 27 years is a long time. Now look. Everyone just texts everyone on their damn phone unless it's overseas. And then you use different things like Instagram, which you can just go to Instagram Messenger or Facebook Messenger or something else, Yeah. All these people around, ICQ, what a great. What the hell is this? Tranny, maybe? I don't know. Don't care. So I get so many damn trannies around. They're just like, oh yes, we live a life where we are being discriminated because we're men in dresses. Big deal. Deal with it. No. I've had to deal with so much shit in the last 27 years with ICQ and everything else that future is bright. Nowadays, gone. So, I better log off, preppers. Get started with what I need to do, but think about it. What is an entitlement? You tell me. I'm entitled to go take Moppy for another walk and then wash up and then take a snooze. That's my plan today. Do I deserve it? Yes. Is Higgins going to tell me I'm entitled? Yes. Why? Because we both agree. I've worked my ass off for 4 days. This is my rest time. I basically burned myself out getting this place clean. Dumpsters are full. Garbage is overflowing. We won't be able to dump anything till tomorrow. Think about it. With that said, everyone, what is an entitlement in your opinion? Is it what you pay for? Or is it what the government gives you? Or is it something else? I'm not entitled. To me, everything's a blessing. Now, listening to Dad complain about excess pricing of gas and glasses and hearing aids and contact lenses and property taxes and car repairs, and let me put it this way. You own a boat. Are you entitled for the government to pay for the repairs on it? No. You're entitled to pay for it yourself. Same with your car. Is a boat a luxury item in my opinion? Yes. Is a car a luxury item? Yes. If you don't drive or you use your legs everywhere and you know, there's a lot of people out there that own cars. Do I consider it a luxury item? Yes. Do I consider people can benefit and be healthy by walking or taking a bus? Yes. What is an entitlement? Entitlement is what you make of it. Plain and simple. And I'm entitled to get Moppy walked, and I'm entitled to take a snooze. So, look for another afternoon or evening edition of YouTube for me. The struggles are real, people. That's the truth. The struggles for me are real. I mean, literally, when someone says I'm clueless, I'm not clueless. I always like to poke Higgins because I always think the gift cards are burning a hole in his pocket. He claims he doesn't have pockets. Well, then it's burning a hole in your jock straps or your underwear. See, I can be funny too. Honestly, I need a nap before Zoe calls me. So with that said, stay tuned for another edition later. What is entitlements? You tell me. Because frankly, I don't buy it. What do you think's a luxury item? Tell me that. Is a Windows based handheld tablet computer handheld gaming system like Legion Go luxury item? Maybe. What's concerned? Mine? Battery life. Is an all-in-one a luxury item? Depends on the processor and what it can do. Do I think it's a blessing if I got another one? Yes. Do I think it's not a blessing? Yes. Everything to me is a blessing because you know what? Here's how I see things, okay? You live, you die, and the wheels on the bus go round and round. The bucket list, Jack Nicholson. But the truth is, it's how you perceive everything in life. What do you classify as luxury and what isn't? That's a question. What do you classify luxury for food? That's a question. What do you classify luxury for everyday living? That's a question. You see, all these questions need to be answered. And yet, there's people out there that think they're the only fucking entitled ones. And that's where it drives me nuts. You get a fat lady who's Jehovah's Witness thinks she's entitled to everything under the sun because she's fat. Sorry to say, you're fat, so you made yourself fat. Lose some weight, tubby. Or Trans women think they're real women, so they're entitled. You're not entitled to shit. You're entitled to what we give you. We give you the ability to think you're a woman, then you're a woman. If you think your ability that you're a real woman, then and we don't agree, that's your problem, not mine. In this day and age, entitlements are what someone gives you. Or, as some call it, like George Carlin, it's a privilege. So if you think you're entitled because you paid into it for 500 years, so be it. If you think you're entitled because your family paid into it for 2,000 years, so be it. Thing is think about this. Think about this. I watched a video last night where a guy was talking about gaming, where pricing is through the roof because everyone sucks up these games, sucks them up, and then they jack the price up 20-fold, thinking you'll pay that. And when they don't, and then someone brings out the Asian edition, and you pay the Asian edition price, the same game, with English, what happens then? These people royally get pissed. They basically spend thousands of dollars trying to jack up the price, and no one's willing to pay it. Common sense. Are they entitled to steal all the games and then try to jack it up like scalpers? Yeah. Well, we're not entitled to pay the damn price. Think of the gaming companies, for example. Gaming companies are trying to force everyone to go digital. I don't support it because they can take away the game at any given time. Now they're shutting down archives around the world that archive these games in ROM formula, emulator formula, saying that it's taking business away. If you're not making the original Sonic the Hedgehog 20 years ago and you haven't made a new remake of it, then you're not entitled to take down the entire game because you're not making any money on it. There's game companies that went out of business, and yet some companies are shutting down these companies that are holding and archiving it to preserve these games. It's called preservation. You're not making any money. And now new games, buy the new games. Support your companies. But if something's outdated, like PS3, you can't buy anymore. PS2, PS1, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Color, Game Boy, Nintendo, Super Nintendo, you're trying to shut those sites down because of that. There's a problem because, frankly, those games are being preserved. How many of you think that you can get the old NES toaster to work? And if you do, the batteries might be dead in the controller. So they remake games like limited edition games of collectors of all these games in one pack. You buy them, you play them, you're no problem. Or you download these games, or you download these games, and you find out they brought it out on emulator for the Switch online. Play those still. No problem. Guess what? In the end, it's called preservation. What one person says is entitlements, another person's opinion of preservation. Think about it. That's all I got to say. Preservation. I'm a gamer. I think preserving the games are more important than someone shutting down the emulator ROM sites, because even though they claim it's piracy if you go and get a brand new movie, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, from the library, and you burn it to your computer because you're too fucking cheap to buy it. But and then one day the government comes and says, "Oh, we confiscated your computer. By the way, we found 60,000 movies on it. What were you doing?" "Oh, well, I got it from the library. I'm a poor person." That is considered piracy. But that's your entitlement. You're entitled to do that. But if you go to jail for it, that's your opinion too. No, you can claim it. It's like using a ham radio. In my opinion, you should be able to use a ham radio legally without needing a license. But nowadays, they want you to pay. GSRM, same thing. Now, the only reason why they charge with GSRM is if you hit repeaters, you can basically go 60 to 600 miles. They don't want you to do it, but It's available if you know what you're doing. That said, everyone, I am out. So, time to walk moppy. Please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please leave feedback, suggestion. Hit the like, subscribe button. So it's fun for your family, including your dogs, your cats, your bunnies, your service dogs, your service bunnies. Hit the bell notification, thumbs up button, subscribe button. Keep the comments nice. So we ask, thank you. God bless you in everything you do.